feelings. It's like I can't walk on the ceiling. Oh yeah, got me dreaming, dreaming in colors I never dreamed. Oh yeah, I let you in deeper than I let anyone else before. Filling up with my broken pieces, took them all and made them yours. Didn't know what my heartbeat needed, skipping out, no I can't keep score. When I lose my breath, boy, you got me breathing. Oh, every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher, higher. Every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher, higher. Oh, magic. No, I'm never letting go. Now that I have it with you. When you kiss me, it's like the stars fall out the sky onto my heart to cover up what I don't wanna show. I let you in deeper than I let anyone else before. Filling up with my broken pieces, took them all and made them yours. Didn't know what my heartbeat needed, skipping out, no I can't keep score. When I lose my breath, boy, you got me breathing. Oh, every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher, higher. Every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher, higher. Oh, you take me higher, you take me higher, baby, you take me higher, you take me higher, baby, you take me higher, you take me higher, baby, you take me higher, yeah, you take me higher, baby.
Welcome to Saturday Night Vibe, the progressive new show. Let's be S3. I am your host, Marlon, along with Diz. Anna is on the way. She wasn't able to slide first base at the last second this week. So, okay. In case y'all didn't read the stuff down at the bottom of the title, Foxy has brought it to my attention that the Saturday Night Vibe is not the lighthearted show that I created the show to be. Not all of our stories, not all the stories that I pick are serious or anything like that, so to speak. It's still more social than it is political, which is more what Radical Truth to Power is for. But she is saying that even some of the social stories that we get can only go in one direction. It's either going to make us either one or two emotions. Either we're going to be pissed off and angry, or we're going to be sad and angry, or we're going to be upset and angry, or we don't care because we don't see. You get my point. It's not the upbeat show that I was wanting to create. So she gave me a challenge to only have upbeat stories for at least the first hour. So that's what's happening tonight. All these stories are upbeat, fun, entertaining. None should get us mad. Maybe a couple. I mean, maybe one. I don't think the other ones would. But it's more lighthearted stories. Now, I'm going to tell you this right now. This will not be a trend. because I've come to the conclusion that, oh, by the way, the word I was trying to think of last week was sensationalizing. When I was trying to say, I don't want to put on sensationalized news articles to get likes and everything because that's what everybody else does. But it was late. My mind was gone by that time anyway. So, anyway, Reddit, YouTube, Facebook, unfortunately, is so saturated with sensationalized, what is it, trauma porn type stories. Because that's what gets the likes, that's what gets the clicks, that's what gets the whatever. What is it on Reddit? That's what gets the karma points or something like that. But that's what gets those rewards. So it's real hard for me to find some of these stories. As a matter of fact, I didn't find before. To be totally truthful with you, at least in the time frame that was given to me. So anyway, that's what we'll be doing. Hey, this.
Hello.
So you already tired?
Man, I'm exhausted. But I just got done watching that Disney movie Elemental with my daughter. That's a pretty good movie. It was, what's the word when like you already know it's kind of predictable, but the storytelling was still really good. So if you haven't seen it, folks, go ahead and turn it on.
Okay. All right, let's see who's already out there. Rad TP may hit 300 subs either today or tomorrow. There needs to be some sort of visual confetti or sound effects right when it happens. Okay. And we're 2 subscribers away from 300. So it may be today, it may be tomorrow.
Thank you, everybody.
But hello, Parker. But it may be anywhere to next week to next month. Don't know. But as always, please, you're welcome. Please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe, and enjoy the show. Hello, Susan. How are you?
Hello everyone.
LL. SAH? No, dudes. I don't know what that means. But anyway, without further ado, let's get this party started. All right, let's go ahead and get into the first story. And I was feeling some type of way about this story simply because of one statement the guy made. But then I also got to remember my upbringing, and it made more sense of why he said what he said. Dancers are people too.
I travel a lot for work, and that makes for some lonely nights. Last week, I found myself at a gentleman's club in Texas trying to kill some time when I eventually ran into a young lady called Nina. We got to chatting, and I paid for some dances. Well, I know it's their job to get as much money from me as possible, but this one just felt different for some reason. Anyways, Nina stuck around for a bit, and she expressed that she wasn't having the best night and was kind of burnt out at work. It was late and I was starving, so I suggested we go get Denny's or something. She explained how she can't be seen leaving with a customer or she could risk getting fired. So we planned to regroup at the new location. To my surprise, she actually showed up with a huge smile on her face. We ordered our food and just talked for hours about life, aspirations, and how we both ended up in our professions. I came to find out that we had a ton in common, everything from video games, crazy controlling parents, and just random hobbies. It was honestly just pleasant. There was no tension, sexual motives, or anything. Just 2 friends opening up to each other, really listening and sharing life stories. I really don't know why I'm sharing this, but I will say that I enjoyed her company so much because what started off as a night of debauchery ended in one of the most wholesome evenings. She was truly one of the most genuine people I've met in years. I did end up getting her real name and number, and we chat from time to time. She ended up being a breath of fresh air, and I think I really needed that. Oh, excuse me, I misread that. It's breath of fresh air.
Hi, Anna.
Hello, Anna.
Hey.
I had one issue with what the OP was saying, and the only issue that I had was when he said it was. I was so surprised that we got along and that she was just a regular person and that it just went as good as it was. And I kept thinking, dude, she is just a person. What you're complaining about is an occupation. But that being said, I also got to remember my upbringing. And I seen some things again, like I said, I had no business at no teenage or young person seeing or even knowing. And what I do realize that growing up, and I'm not saying that it is like that now, and I'm not saying that it isn't like that now. But growing up, strippers had one thing on their mind, dancers had one thing on their mind, and that was money. On the clock and off the clock. So sometimes you had your guard up. And sometimes if you dealt with some of them that was not on the up and up of just holding a conversation, talking, things like that, you subconsciously you try to figure out, okay, what's the trick? Or what's the game? Or what's the con? And you always have that in the back of your mind, and you can't get rid of it until time goes on. So I see what a guy was saying, like, oh, I was shocked. There was no con. She was just a regular person who wanted to talk, who just wanted to hold a conversation, who we had a lot in common. She was, and apparently he must have been through this because he said, and I'm going to say it correctly because Daphne, you're corny. He to her was a breath of fresh air because it was new to him on this situation. It was new to meet a dancer who was genuine. So I was taken aback, but then I see where the guy's coming from. This?
So I don't know what the parameters are for positivity, but yes, that is her occupation. That's not necessarily her personality. However, we oftentimes do take on personalities that fit our occupation. Just kind of what ends up happening, right? You start lining up with the values and the purposes of the job that you perform, and blah 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 blah. Here, yakety smackety. So, I mean, cool, man. You made a friend. That's good. You needed a friend, and she needed a friend, and despite all the reasons to not be friends, you found one reason to be. And so, yeah, that's cool. There you go, being positive. Woo!
Okay. The rule is the stories have to be positive. They didn't say that we had to. So that's why I said what I said. I'm pretty sure what I said wasn't, rainbows and sunshine positive. I'm just saying that I kind of
Well, in that
understand what
case,
the statement was.
I'm good with what happened. And everything lines up with being realistic because it's true. They can't be seen leaving with someone that they were just dancing with because that makes it look like prostitution. And then you got all kinds of issues on your hands. Plus, there's a safety issue and all kinds of stuff that goes in there. So that part makes sense. And then they go and they ate and they tripped out, had a good time. And that was cool too. So, yeah, all in all, that's good. The only dancer I was ever close to was an ex-girlfriend back in college. It's the only dancer I ever was close to. Everybody else she was a dancer and I was there and she was dancing. So, but at the end of the day, we're all people. In the right circumstances, you can make a new friend.
All right, Anna.
What did I walk in on? It just sounds like human connection. You find the right time, you find the right place, you open up. It just wasn't the right time, place with anybody else. But hey, it sounds like things worked out here, and yay.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, non-conforming individuals, this will be the shortest Saturday Night Vibe ever.
I'm sorry, it's really hard to draw some context. I was having technical problems. One hotspot didn't
And
work.
brevity is not a reflection of value. So it may be shorter because there's less controversy to feed off of, but isn't that a good thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Well said.
Well said, Sir Thieves.
It ain't like the grandma who was sitting there, but we ain't gonna get into that because we staying positive.
You will never.
He never will. No, I don't even know why he has an issue. Never mind.
Stay positive, Marlon.
Positive, you're getting on my nerve already.
Ooh.
Susan, I support a politician who used her former occupation as a stripper in her campaign, Alexandra Hart. I really wanted one of her campaign T-shirt. Vote for.
That's that white lady who has an OnlyFans page. I saw something in passing. Yeah, there's a lady who's running for office, and part of the controversy is that she has an OnlyFans page with a lot of adult content or whatever. Whatever. She's an attractive woman. Women are judged by their looks all the time. It gets them ahead in profession. It gets them in ahead in basically it gets women ahead in damn near everything if they're attractive, considered to be physically attractive. And then you got a little controversy to stir into the pot, especially in this current political season where, everything goes. So it just adds to the buzz. So yeah, she might get a few votes behind it. But the thing is, I don't think you should vote against her because she has that.
Right.
But I do wonder why you will vote for her because of it. Right? Because you will have some of our ladies
because of or is it because they promote the right policies, like.
Yeah, but we don't do that, right? We focus on what's the entertainment value. And if you got good entertainment value and you have a policy, yay. But if you got a policy and no entertainment value, boo.
Right.
No, that's a different lady.
That's
I've never heard of anything like this. The closest I ever got was the lady in Italy who did do adult movies, who was elected to the parliament, and I don't think she stayed there very long, but she did win.
Yeah, whatever. Who cares? I don't like that celebrity and characters, not character, but characters is what gets people elected. It's really
or their name.
It's really pathetic.
Or
really pathetic. It does not look good for our country at all.
Okay, it is Hunt, not Hart. Yep.
But hey, we got U.S. senators reading about pornographic content.
Yep.
So why not? We got another one in the House that likes to show naked pictures. So I mean, hey, welcome America.
Yeah, we just shared that video of good old Bobert. I don't know where she was.
Yeah, she was at a musical for Beetlejuice. Whatever, man. On that one, like I said in the chat, she's recently divorced. She's just having fun being single again. So yeah, she did some inappropriate stuff, blah blah blah. Now, on one hand, she should not conduct herself in such a way because she is an elected official. And there should still be some level of decorum. But we don't require that of our elected officials anymore. So it's hard to hold that against her now. And then on the other hand, she's been a mess since we've met her. So how's anybody surprised? This one is one of those stories that I'd be like, just move on.
And what Tracy said, Pennsylvania is made up of a lot of conservatives. It has a few liberal cities, but most of that population, I'm sure, dragged that person through the mud.
The truth be told, that's how America is. I think that's why a lot of people miss out on when you view politics, because I'm trying to find better ways to say this, but I don't quite know how to say it. But conservatives, especially like conservatives of European descent, all right, whatever. But they are all the way across the country. Okay, big city, small city, little town, all that. They're every damn where, because that's the majority population. It's like high 50s now, right? They used to be in the 60s and 70s. Now they're high 50s, but they're everywhere. So almost every state has blue cities, blue areas, but the rural areas, the spread out areas and all that stuff, overwhelmingly conservative. Almost anywhere you go. It's just the way it lands. The more cut off you are from other cultures, other ways of doing things, business that's changing rapidly, the more cut off you are from those things, the more conservative you can be, because that's where tradition matters more. Tradition matters more when new visions and new energy doesn't come in. You keep new things out, you can hold on to tradition, you can stay conservative. When conservative starts to interact with places that are moving faster, you get conflict, because now it's like you're rubbing against tradition. So it's like you're disrespecting tradition, and then you're doing these things that are just way too new to this, and you get the conflict that we constantly wrestle with.
Yes, it.
And I like puppies.
But did I say this before, that I really wish rural area people would get out of their little bubble and stop acting like they know every damn thing.
I think that's an unfair thing to say.
I don't think so, because I can see why. I can see you holding on to tradition. Fair point. Somewhere along the lines, we all have some type of tradition that we have, whether we want to believe it or not. There is something that we always done.
What drives culture?
Yeah.
That's what drives culture. Yeah.
But I don't like two things I don't like. I know you're going to push back on it, because I remember you pushing back on it the last time. I don't like the idea of when people say rural area, and that's the way it is because they don't stand out or they don't go this, that, the other, and I keep going. But are you telling me so there's rural areas who doesn't have radio and TV? Or there are people who decide to go and decide upon what their echo chamber is going to be, and they select their TV and their radio to still stay in that bubble?
So with that, I would say it's like, think of it like when you're in the rural areas, watching it on TV is like going on vacation to another country, going to the islands or something like that. You're viewing it, but you're only viewing the casual observer's interpretation of the complexity of that thing you're looking at, right? You're just seeing the postcard version. But if you are actually in it, you start to deal with it more often, which is why it's harder to hold to some of your bigoted views or minimalist views in city structures, because you're constantly bumping into people who are challenging what you thought you knew, right? It's hard to say all white people are this way or all black people are this way when you're in the city environments and you're having to work with people, and because at the same time that you're like, yeah, the overwhelming white population acts this particular way, you know for a fact there's like 30, 40 of them that like, man, that man cool. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you're constantly being forced to push against things, readjust your interpretations. Sometimes you get more entrenched, sometimes you pull back. It's all those different things. But it's because it's fluid. It's always happening, especially when you're in a business environment, because now you have to rely on people who don't necessarily think, act, and move like you do, right?
Mm.
Rural communities, nothing new's coming in. Things go out, like your children move away, or you might move away, or whatever, but the community itself can stay almost kind of stuck in time to an extent because you're not being pushed inwards on, except for what you happen to allow in from entertainment or media. So I think it's unfair to say that the rural people need to be more like the city people. There are a lot of good things about the city people, right? Cultural overlap and all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of good things about the rural part too. It's just
Yeah.
that you have to be part of their community to get the full access, I guess you could say.
Yep.
But within that community, it's all good. You know each other, you have trust systems, you have support systems, you got family ties that go back 3, 4 generations. You know,
Uh,
are you as, and then now I'm stereotyping, are
yeah.
you as well educated as them city folk? Maybe, maybe not. You're just educated differently. And you know the things that you need to know for what matters where you are. You can't drop me in a farming community and expect me to just automatically know how to function. I'll starve. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? I'll get bit by something. I'll fall down something. I'll right. I'll say the
Yes.
wrong thing to the wrong person. All that stuff, right? So I think what we really need are the various levels of society to just respect each other,
Yeah.
right? To leave room for you to interact without demanding that you assimilate. And that's the key right there. But we're always in a struggle of who's better. So
And
we're always
doesn't
trying
that
to say that
kind
my
of
way is better.
work with the story that he didn't expect to get a friend from a stripper? Okay, a lot of city folk may not expect to get a country person on their friend list. You know, I live in a rural area. I have acres around me. My neighbors, we know each other, but we stay, you know, mostly out of each other's business unless we need something. Um, there is something incredible about being able to live with so much nature that you are recognizing the cycles that the earth shows throughout its flora, fauna, you know, and so this is coming from a rural person, Marlon, you know, and I think that's what LL meant. And hey, LL, that why you got beef. It's not really understanding, and it's finding that moment to bridge the gap and find out, my gosh, we are just people on the other
But you
side
know
of
what makes
that.
that
Sorry, good.
no, I was gonna say what makes that really so hard though is that for every one person of any group that is accommodating, there's another member of that group that has a grudge, and another member of
Yes.
that group has a bias
Hmm.
or bigoted view. So you
Okay.
can't just engage, right? It's just like, you'll be like, you know what? We are just people. Anna is a nice person and she's from a rural community. Her next door neighbor got 5 acres between them and the next person, and you can't
And
even see the
Republican.
next house. right? And they're probably Republican because of the things I said earlier. But you're like, hey, person, I'm a person too. Let's be friends. Screw you, darky. Okay, never mind.
No,
You're
not
all,
everybody is meant to be friends.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what happens, though, right?
Well, you got to keep this in mind, though. You hit on it a little bit. What we sometimes forget that no matter how much we group people together, we love to do that. I do it sometimes, and I need to stop doing it myself. Every individual is
Labels are helpful things.
Is an individual. I can see.
Yeah, we like to say that, but
I know, but
when we're figuring out ourselves, is what I would
sit there and jump on conservatives because the conservatives that we have been dealing with have been the ones who has been doing the most damage, in our opinion, to this country.
Politically active
there are conservatives out there who is just looking at what these other conservatives is doing and going, yeah, I'm a conservative too, and I know that you're effing up this country. That's not the conservative I grew up with. Small government.
Yeah, that's all sayings. It's bullshit. It's funny. All that kumbaya I just said, at the same time,
still
a whole lot of bullshit out there. Because everybody wants to be the exception. Everybody. No one belongs to a group unless it's to their benefit. Once that group does something they ain't really down with, oh no, I'm not like that. That's not my type of conservatism. That's not me. No, yes, the hell it is, right? That's the thing. We're all a muddy mess, right? But I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to convey. But like whenever I hear people say, well, we're all just God's children. Yeah, but you know what? God set it up where he likes some of his children more than the other.
We are complicated creatures, and we are not all men.
Complicated.
Everybody don't get along with everybody. Yep. And then what Anna was touching on, there are in groups and there are out groups. And then we decide what subgroups we want to create. But it all functions on in group, out group. And the in group is based on your motivations in the moment. So there you go. Like we will never, I put it in writing, put it on wherever you want to put it. We will never all come together as a human species. Ain't happening. Not gonna happen. Okay? But you can come together in smaller groups.
Mm-hmm.
We are the world. No, we're not. We're all the children. This is the part where I don't like
you. To Evil last week is we could take any story. We literally could take any story and make it a social topic. And it's
that's
not
life.
And trust me when I say this is being nice. I did have a lot to say, and none of what I was about to say was
I sang a Michael Jackson song. You know that's positive.
Nope, don't say it. We're gonna go on to the next story.
Oh, so now you're gonna talk bad about Mike?
I didn't say a word about Mike.
We all held hands on the playground, hands across America. You don't remember that?
Yep. I remember that. We are the world, hands across America, Pepsi, moonwalking, Jerry curl. I remember all of that. Okay, we're going to go to the next story of the night. Today, my wife met my girlfriend.
I, 32 male, am a widow. My wife passed away from pancreatic cancer 5 years ago. She was forced to leave behind our 2 kids, R, 10 male, and H, 7 male. My wife was the absolute light of my life. We were high school sweethearts, went to the same college, and got married after graduation. We were inseparable. Every day I fell more in love with her. It was like my heart was living outside my body. When she passed, the amount of pain I was in is indescribable. I prayed to go to sleep and not wake up just so I could see her one last time. I contemplated meeting her, but but every time I was ready, my kids would look at me. They had her face, her personality, her DNA. I couldn't leave them. They were all I had left of her. It took years before I was able to function normally again. I even quit my job and lived off of savings and her life insurance for about a year. I was half the dad I used to be and only a fraction of my former self. 2 years after her passing, I decided enough was enough and I kicked myself into gear. I found a job in a different city closer to my parents. I packed my kids up and I moved. Life was hard, but I kept chugging along and eventually I found some joy. A year after moving, I took a business trip to New York where I met my current girlfriend, Elle. While I acknowledged there was a chemistry, I told her I was already married and she understood. However, a few months later, I had to go back to New York where we met up again. I let my guard down for the first time around her. Before I knew it, she was putting in a transfer for my home branch and moving to my city. I fell in love with her and asked her out a year ago next month. My kids adore her, and though she reminded them she will never take their mom's place, they lovingly call her Mama L. Today was the anniversary of my wife's passing, an extremely hard day for all of us. This morning, I walked into the living room to find Elle and my kids waiting for me. The kids were dressed in their church clothes with goofy smiles on their faces and bouquets in hand. Apparently, Elle came up with the idea of a picnic at my wife's grave, an idea that the boys loved as they enjoyed going to see their mom. While I was sleeping, they prepared food and flowers. They insisted on wearing their best clothes. I'll admit that I cried at the sight of them. I don't know how I got this lucky twice in a row. I wanted my wife to meet this amazing woman, so I asked Elle to come along, and she did. The day that I dread every year turned out to be a humbling reminder of the reason why I stayed on this planet. To my lovely wife, you can never be replaced, but she is good to me, and she takes care of our kids like you would. Thank you for sending her to me.
Okay, I've been told that I played this last week. I told y'all this was hard. It's hard trying to find positive stories. So sorry that y'all got to see.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah, this is like last Saturday, maybe.
I must have been.
Or maybe I
Was it
played
Sunday? Oh,
I don't know.
I know it was last weekend.
But I told y'all it was
Or
hard.
So I'm
maybe
gonna
I
give you a
left early
different
one
positive note.
time.
A different
Okay.
positive note on this video. I am so pleased that they got life insurance on her before she died.
Okay.
What?
It set
That's
him
positive.
up.
It's taking care of your family when you're not there to do so.
Yeah.
He was able to take a year off to grieve and provide for the children.
That was,
So I'm saying to people, if you say you care about your loved ones, go get some life insurance.
That's true.
I have. And it
I
goes
do.
to my nephew.
Yep. Mine go to Foxy. Yep.
There was an option through my credit union. And you can do a basic amount that you just qualify for, or you can pay a little bit more and they get a good chunk of money.
See, Tracy said I played this last week. Thea said I played it last week. Susan said
But
I don't
remember,
remember this one.
I had to leave early because I had dinner with my family. So I'm
maybe that's
thinking
what
I missed it.
Okay. There we go. That was the reason. So
It was a beautiful story, I have to say.
It was one of those stories, man. The chances of you falling in love twice with legitimate good people. Let me paraphrase that, because some of y'all fall in love with some people y'all had no damn business falling in love with, but we're trying to keep this positive show.
Mm-hmm.
But legitimately finding two wonderful people in your life back to back. What this?
That's fair.
Because Trump said what?
How often you hear me quote Trump?
My gosh.
I just wanted to hear where you were going with this, because personally, I look at it.
That was it.
350 million thereabout people in America. There's billions of us on the planet. I think you can very easily fall in love with a good person multiple times in a lifetime, man.
But you have all you
Love
saying
is
the
an
same thing,
emotional
and you
thing.
have people who've gone their whole life single. What's your point? Just because there's
Because
billions of people don't mean you still have to put in the work, you still have to put in the effort, you still have to put in the beats, and you still have to find the one for you among those billions of people in this world.
I was there. That's it.
Okay.
I mostly
the
agree.
one for you kind of thing is
Yeah, that part is where you lost me, right? Because I think you have a type that fits you, and there are a lot of people in that type. The hard part is making yourself available to the right people, so you're not making yourself available to the wrong people, because that creates emotional scar tissue, which gets in the way of you getting to the one that you need to be with. But it's not that there's just one wandering around on the planet. You know, I mean, that's my take though. Other people got different things. Some people believe that there's the one that got a soulmate. God bless you. I hope you find your soulmate. And I hope that it's the real one and not just what you decided was your soulmate because you needed to make your story true, whatever. But hey, whatever floats your boat, whatever tickles your pickle, I hope you find that thing. I'm just saying that I think you can fall in love many times. And I think that you don't necessarily have to fall in love with the right or wrong person, because to me, falling in love is a chemical reaction. It's an emotional state. You know? Now, some other stuff, your cultural views, your traditional values, your personal code of conduct, all that stuff can get in there and get in the way and muddle some stuff up to where now you're locked into the wrong person. But that doesn't mean that, you know, the love itself was false per se.
I second that.
Well, LL already agreed with you, so that's good enough.
But Marlon said that you have a soulmate out there, people. Find your soulmate. Find that soulmate. Mate your soul, people. Mate your soul.
I did not say that. What time did I say you have to find your soulmate? What I'm saying, and maybe I need to change this. We live in an imperfect world, so I have to say, in a perfect world, the rarity that you find someone that is literally the love of your life, that you feel that is specifically that person is just for you, soulmate or not soulmate, I don't know. I don't even want to get into it because there's too many definitions of what soulmate is to me. I don't
Get
care.
you a woman that make you want to do this. Grab air. Get that one. 90s R&B love. Leather vest in the desert love. All my life.
Sounds stinking. But my point is, but for you to find that
that means want in sign language.
You know,
see,
for you to want somebody, but for you to find that person twice is what I'm saying. It's like, I don't know. I just don't know.
I have a very bad point of view that people are not going to agree with. Imagine that.
But you're going to say it anyway.
So I am. I don't know how many times people truly can fall in love. I think it's the ability to fall in love is a lot of factors that have nothing to do with just pure logic. But generally speaking, I think a man truly falls in love no more than twice. Because we, in America, because of our cultural stuff.
What qualifies truly?
The ability to love almost recklessly, where you're not constantly having guards up and walls and you're trying to protect yourself from new pain. Because like if you remember your first love, you were all in. Right? Like you should, even stuff you know you should have known better, well, that won't happen to me. She's different. He's different. It's just that first love. That's why it sits on you so hard. That's why you don't want that first love back, but it could be 30, 40 years later. You still remember how you felt with that first love. Because it was open, it was fresh, it was unbridled in a manner of speaking. And then you start learning, and there's a little bit of scar tissue from the failed relationships and however that first one ended, and all that other stuff starts to intrude. But you might risk it all again one more time. Now, speaking generally of men, because I only know men, I don't know women like that. But you risk it all one more time. But if that one burns you, man, I don't know too many dudes that have truly been in love more than twice. They might settle with you, but it ain't gonna be that same kind of thing he was giving up the first 2 times.
When I researched my family history, I found a trend among my paternal roots, and that was no more than 18 months after they lost their first wife, they were with another one. And I'm
not talking about the ability to be married. I'm talking about the ability to love openly and like deeply. Because sometimes we also get addicted to being taken care of and being part of something that matters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That last part is the one that I think really hangs on a lot of us, because we're mission oriented. So who am I without fill in the blank?
But I have a feeling that, I mean, and I'm going with your logic, Diaz. I just want to put something else at the end.
You heard that, Anna?
I agree with you. I agree with you. I just want to throw this out though. Is it the ability to only be just that madly in love twice, or is it decision to? And the only reason I say that is because if you've been in deeply, madly, whatever your little stinking thing in the desert thing that you was talking about, grabbing air and all this other stuff, and you've done it twice, and you've lost it twice, is it something inside of you that just don't want to go through that type of hurt again? And that's why it's only twice? Like,
I think so. But I don't think it's purely a decision. I think everything, like Anna tries to counsel us on all the time, we're complicated. So I think there is a decision. The decision matrix is the part that's always telling you, all right, eventually this is going to go bad. Eventually this person's going to hurt me. Eventually. Like, that's the decision matrix that you're running through. That's that emotional scar tissue I'm talking about. But then there's the other part, the part that dares to love, the part that dares to connect. That part could still be there too. It's just that now that's kind of being tempered by your fears and your unresolved trauma, unresolved pain. I don't know what the right terminology is, but we get in our own way in a lot of ways.
All right. Let me move on to this next story, because Foxy is in the room, and I honestly don't know if I want to say this is one of Foxy's favorite stories. Is this one of your favorite stories, Kevin?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay. Yeah. This is one of Foxy's favorite stories, and we've been on the air for 3 years, going on. Well, we ain't going on 4. It'll be a while before we get to 4. But we've been on for 3 years. It's very rare that Foxy has a story that she really likes. And I guarantee you, I know I did not play this story before. I know that because I thought it was corny at first. But here it is. Introducing everybody to Kevin.
Every day when my neighbor comes home from work, he unlocks his door and says, "Hello, Kevin." And Kevin, the cat, meows back in greeting. Meow. Our apartment building is small, and I can hear nearly everything that happens in the communal hallways in my living room. I don't know my neighbor at all, not even his name, but I do know his cat. My neighbor also likes to smoke a lot of weed. No shame, I like to indulge too, just not every day. I work from home and live alone, but hearing, "Hello, Kevin," has become a part of my routine. It makes me smile every time. Yesterday, I heard the normal, "Hello, Kevin," greeting and Kevin's meow. Meow. Later, I smelled the blunt he smoked. Then I heard him go into the laundry room and come back. But then I heard something odd. Kevin's meowing was super loud, and he sounded pissed. I waited a little while, but Kevin persisted. I opened up my door and I saw Kevin outside my neighbor's door. He was practically screaming and jumping up to hit the door with his little paws. Inside the apartment, I heard my neighbor echoing Kevin's cries. My neighbor sounded frantic and desperate, calling, "Kevin? Kevin?" over and over again. So I walked up to his door and knocked. I heard my neighbor pause, then quietly, with amazement and perhaps fear, repeat, "Kevin?" At the last moment, I decided to dart back into my apartment and softly close the door, listening while my neighbor let Kevin in. He whispered, "How'd you do that, Kevin?" I've been laughing to myself about it since it happened, imagining my stoned out of his mind neighbor contemplating how his cat human knocked on his door.
I never thought I would find the day that I said these words.
Oh boy.
Nancy Reagan, you were right.
Stop it.
I know where he's going with this.
Stop it.
That was the whole message.
Ooh, that thing had me in the flow.
It reminds me when we were on a trip one time, me and the fellas, and they were imbibing on the devil's cabbage. And all of a sudden you heard one fall off the side of the bed he had been sitting on onto the floor. And from the floor he yells out, "I can't get unhigh." The only thing we were missing was Kevin.
Hi, Kevin.
Just say no, folks.
That was funny.
Just make sure you say the disclosure. We don't get high over here.
We don't get no.
Those jokes from those people that get high, it is hilarious.
I can't get unhigh. No, you can't. That's right. Okay, let me go ahead and get this cussing out done. Marlon, you didn't remind me. I didn't. Oh God. I'm so sorry. So sorry, Mickey. And I sat here, kept thinking, I'm forgetting something. And I'm like, I can't think about it. Kevin, this is just funny. How did you do that, Kevin? Our cat doesn't knock before opening the door. Your cat shouldn't be able to knock, but okay. Nancy was married to the devil.
Mm.
Can't say nothing bad about that.
Mm-hmm.
His Home Alone name was Kevin too.
That was true.
It's true. I don't understand the concept. Oh, never mind. I got it.
As somebody that does partake in cannabis for medicinal purposes, let me tell you, this is not for everybody. If you ever decide to partake, please ask somebody to be with you. Because you never know how you're going to react. And you might get paranoid as hell. You might think you're dying.
You saying that happened to you?
Okay. The very last and final time I did it.
Mm.
which is the reason why I don't do it. Like, if you want a scare tactic to stop you from doing
It is
this
not
was it.
everyone's
The
medicine.
last time I did it, my heart was beating so fast in my chest, like really, 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 really fast. I couldn't sleep. I thought I was going to have a heart attack. I was about to sit there and say, can I go ahead and have the heart attack so I can go ahead and get to the hospital so I can go ahead and get some treatment? Let's go ahead and get to it. And Foxy put her hand on my chest and went, there is nothing going on. You're fine.
All in your head.
It was all in my head, but I'm telling you, it felt like my heart was going. And I'm like, you can't feel this? And it's like, ever since that, it's like, it's not for me. And it's not.
Yeah.
And the funny thing about it is, let me say this real quick. The funny thing about it is, it's not like that was the first time I ever did it. I did it in my early 20s. And I was just fine. It did what it was supposed to do. But now it's like, yeah, you couldn't get me to do that stuff ever again, because whatever it was in my 20s, now in my 50s, something has changed.
Yes.
Well, the weed has changed for one thing, Marlon.
And
that's the first
greatly
thing. That's the first thing.
40s? Woo. Well, still. So
yeah, I think I was at least 30 the first time I even tried it. But the thing about it for me is I don't get like high or intoxicated easily. I have a stupid tolerance. So
a lot of people don't feel anything the first time.
Yeah, so it like never really did much for me, right? So I think I've only gotten like high off weed like once. And that was because I sat there and I had a bunch of edibles and I ate the brownies like they were regular brownies because I was expecting it to like hit me like it should when you smoke it. And that's not the same thing that happens. So I sat there, ate at least half a pan of these brownies. And then
half a pan?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a brownie. I love brownies. It's my favorite thing. So I'm chilling. I'm good.
That would taste pretty good.
And that was pregame, right? That was pregame. So then we go to the club.
What? Sorry.
First time I had to sit on my hands for hours because I was convinced I was going to eat my fingers. Good Lord, what the hell did you smoke?
Yeah, see, somebody putting stuff in y'all stuff, man.
Wait a minute.
But I was like stone sober. And then we got to the club and I still remember it. I got a cranberry and vodka. That's my social drink. Cranberry and vodka. I tasted that thing. It hit the weed and my head went, whoa. I was zooted for the rest of the night. But it's just I don't really gain the appeal to it because more often than not, when I see people who do smoke, it slows them down. And I don't really get much out of being slowed down. It's like the people who are pill poppers. I don't understand the appeal. The one time I had to take when I had surgery and they gave me one of those heavy shits, a Moxie or one of them heavy Vicodin. I think it was a Vicodin.
Oh.
And that shit knocked me out for like a day.
And that's
I ain't ever want to touch that again.
That's a light medication for me.
Only.
Wow.
I am Advil only. I don't care how much it hurts. I'm taking Advil and I'm just gonna ride this bad boy out. I don't want to be detached from reality.
Great.
Well, because
yeah,
I can tell you this on one of the things about why it slows you down, because there are people who has an issue of, and this is my term, I haven't heard it anywhere, this is what I personally made up myself, but they have the 24-hour brain, as in their brain is always going. there's always
That's
thinking,
me.
there's always thoughts, there's always something going through your head to the point where you just can't relax, you can't sleep, you can't do nothing. So you want something to slow, even if it's your brain, to slow down enough to relax. Because I know people who just, their thoughts is
When you
just like
can't sleep
this.
for days and days,
If it's not
you
on
want
this
something.
subject, they got a subject that's going to replace the subject that they was worried about the first time, and a third one,
Well, I mean, if
and
you
a fourth
mix,
one, and a fifth one.
like my brain never is quiet. That's why my mouth
Mhm.
runs so much. There's always more going on. I don't have periods of time where I'm just like, that doesn't happen, right? But I also do not have any issues with anxiety. So if you have an anxiety issue and you have a hyperactive mind like mine, that could probably be a bad combination to put in the same head. I don't know. Feel for them if they got it. Okay. I'm not saying nobody else should do whatever the hell they're doing. I'm just saying for me, I don't see the
Mhm.
appeal. It's not enough of an appeal. I'll put it that way. It's not enough of an appeal.
Well, and that's true.
That's
Like I
great.
never
You
lie to my
know your
children.
stuff.
I tell them people do drugs because drugs are fun. The problem is it messes with your chemistry. You are not stronger than a chemical. I don't care who you are. So you don't know what it's gonna do when it hits your chemistry. Might not have messed with your friend the same way it's gonna mess with you. So you don't know till you deal with it, and sometimes it will done. Like some people smoke weed, does nothing for them. It's almost like smoking a cigarette. It's
Mhm.
as benign as drinking a Coca-Cola. That's just what they do, and they move on. But for some, it triggers like this dopamine rush that they have to go get more of. And then they're always chasing a high. You don't know where you're going to fall in that spectrum because there's a whole spectrum between those two. But then it's a hard way to find out. That's my thing. It's a hard thing to find out. You don't want to find out that you in worst case you just smoking some weed. But weed nowadays ain't what weed used to be. So like
Mhm.
now they do that. What's that term where they mate different plants together to create new strains and stuff?
Mhm.
Like, but
They
you end up
splice.
smoking something, yeah. So now you done messed with this next evolution of purple haze monkey funky
Yep.
donkey,
Yep.
and it's like LSD laced as far as your body is concerned. Now here you are, strung out.
And just to be clear, I'm not laughing at what he said. I'm laughing at the name because I done heard some of these
Mhm.
funky donkey, greeny greeny, and
Well, purple haze is a real thing, but
Yep. Or
I don't
you
know
know
about
your
funky
body
donkey. It's
and you
probably out
know,
there.
or
I
you
didn't
know
know
your
that.
body and you know how the different strains affect both your body, your mind, and sorry, more than both, your spirit, because it affects all. And like for me, this is not something that's fun. I do it so I can get up out of bed. I do it so I am not throwing up. Yes, Tracy, there is a great difference between edibles and smoking. Smoking anything, you get a much more direct and a higher dose hitting you quickly. Edibles has to go around your blood and has to be dispersed into your body. And about 40 minutes after you've had your first nibble is when you start feeling it. And personally, when I eat edibles, because I stick much more to the indica side of the plant, it is used for a lot of things like pain, anxiety, sleep. I also go towards the sativa part when I need help with nausea, when I have no appetite whatsoever, which I don't ever on my own. And so this one medicine, and I'm going to keep repeating that word because for some It is medicine. It is not a drug. It is not something for fun. This can stop seizures if you find the right strain for you. Last thing in the world I would ever say is this is fun. This is about quality of life. This is about, and I know, yes, I greatly know it affects my ability to think, how quickly that I can get to an idea. I already have a lot of problems that way. So, I'd rather be able to deal with the 5 symptoms it specifically handles than go towards at least 5 synthetic drugs, man-made drugs, that I don't know how the side effects are going to hit me.
No, I fully agree. And what I was saying, notice I said when I talk to my kids, so this is an
Right,
elective thing,
sorry,
right? You're talking
I'm.
about young people, right?
This is
So
not
young
like a
people,
bounce back on you. Sorry.
no, it's fair. But I mean, for young people, and it's a good point to raise, for young people who are doing it because you think it's fun or it's
Mm,
a social thing, or people who are not necessarily young, but you're doing it for a social reason, or you're
right.
self-medicating, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have an underlying condition. You just this is what you do, right? It
Mm-hmm.
becomes habit forming, and that's your habit. That's one side of the discussion. There's a
Yes.
whole nother side of the discussion where you're
Yes.
talking about people with glaucoma, nausea,
Cancer.
chronic pain,
Mm-hmm.
fibromyalgia, all these different things. Now, where I would still contend a little bit is to me, still a drug, right? Because drug is just a classification, it's a terminology. Medication is a drug, right? It's so to me that word is largely interchangeable, but I get what you're saying
Mm.
because they're not the same thing as a synthetic medication, right? Where you take this pill and then it's supposed to help you with these particular things, but then I need you to take this pill because it's got to help you with what the first pill did.
Mm-hmm.
And here's another pill. And next
Yeah.
thing you know, you got 12 pills and you can't come off of any of them because each of them actually work together, become one or two big pills, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now your body is being affected in so many different ways that you're locked in, right?
Yeah.
So now definitely not, poo-pooing on that side. I just wasn't speaking to that side. So I
Right.
apologize for my haphazard speech.
I was just filling in the blanks, kind of, because yes, you have to be absolutely straight when you are talking to your next generation. Like, for the first time, my family's next generation is actually growing up seeing me openly use it, not around the kids, like, but they see me across the house, kind of thing. And we have all the talks about how, this is something that helps auntie be able to come out and have those days with you, kind of thing. And it's very different from when I even started. You smoked whatever you could get. You weren't sure. Now, when you go into a shop, you can go towards this side of the store, go for indicas. You can go to the other side and see all the sativas. Like, it is incredibly hyper specified. And if you
But
go
do you
inside
feel
and talk to them, they are incredibly knowledgeable. Go ahead.
so given that,
Mm-hmm.
right? Given that it has now become its own big business in and of itself, which I have a lot of issues with,
Mm-hmm.
um, it's now headed towards or very much akin to the pharmaceutical industry that we say that we don't like. Because the very fact that you can go in and be like, well, no, I need a strain that does this, this, and that. And they say, okay, well, this is the hybrid strain that I think would be best for this versus this is the strain that'll be good for that. We are
Yep.
now dealing with a pharmacist.
Hmm.
Okay, it's a horticultural pharmacist. So you're
I
right
call
back,
them my pharmacy. Yeah.
right? So you're right back in the exact same situation, and now you're just kind of just because of our personal biases deciding which one's better than the other, right? So it's like it starts blending together, and then I think we do that in a lot of different disciplines. We do that with like with this, we do that with our um, politics, we do that with business, we do that with some religions, we do that with so many things. We just
Mhm.
rationalize what we would once have had criticisms for, but we have less criticisms for it because I like it this way. And but in a way, we're still moving right on along that same trajectory. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking that one.
Hmm. I mean, I would rather them have the because there are lots of studies on this. I would rather them be able to have singled out the strain that helps children who have such a seizure disorder that medication that we have, it doesn't touch it like this one strain that got called Charlotte's Web. So there are ups and downs, but I would much rather have the knowledge that we do today. I mean, I was putting myself in a lot of danger, and I couldn't look at the test results of what a dealer was dealing. So it has its ups, it has its downs. Yeah. Whoa, is that me?
Is that me?
Who's talking?
I
I don't
Oh,
know which one of us it was. I don't know who it was.
I heard absolutely nothing. So yeah.
Must have been Marlon.
oh, yes, it went away.
If I heard it and you heard it, but he didn't hear it.
It's me?
Yes, when you
Special Agent
muted.
Johnson, he was,
Oh, Special
he
Agent Johnson.
leaned on the switch, and there you go.
No, yeah, I was on that weed talk for a minute. So,
Yeah.
so
We want you to be able to talk to your children uh, openly, yes, age appropriate, yes, but with more knowledge. It. I understand. Yeah, all of it. You can say it's a drug. What I push back and say I will call it medicine is because it is nowhere near equivalent to heroin, um, cocaine, the man-made drugs. But
However,
mhm,
those drugs are built off of those very same things. I mean, you look at your oxys, it's a pharmaceutical equivalent to the opium, right? So
mhm,
they're all related. I think is a distinction that is more self-serving than not. I mean, I see the value in it to different people, right? Because
mhm,
no one wants to hear themselves saying, "I take drugs," right? I take my medication, right? But if you talk to a drug addict who takes the heavier street pharmaceuticals, they
mhm.
also call their medication. So it's a personal decision on how
Okay.
you look at it. My bigger concern is why are you doing it,
Mhm,
right? That's the
mhm,
first thing. And then also the impacts that you have to deal with from it. So if you're going in as an adult, you're going in more or less eyes wide open. Even if you're not making the right decision, you're still doing it as an adult. You've had
mhm,
a whole set of time to build your rationalization. But a 13-year-old or a 16-year-old or even a 19-year-old, let's just be real, you don't have the background to really understand what you're doing.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to be that conservative person who says, take it all away, because I'm actually on the opposite end. I say make it all legal, and those who fuck their lives up. But I hate to see the people who are dealing with the harsh realities of making the wrong call, too, because it's really hard to come off. And some things you can't come back from because it messes with your chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
And that's tough, too.
Yeah.
All right, everybody.
Thanks, Marlon. Thanks for all the joy and positivity.
I was trying to. This is the last time I'll do this because now I have come to the conclusion that, and it's not a bad. It's no
positive.
Anna, I can't even say anything yet. I haven't said anything. I just said I'm.
Hey, don't be fussing at Anna. What's wrong with you?
You automatically think it's negative. Jeez.
Meanie. You're a meanie.
I have come to the conclusion that I can put on positive stories, but I've also come to the conclusion that we just have too many things that we have to deal with that has to be said. That the top priority of this show is for people to, at the very least, learn something from different perspectives. All three of us have different perspectives of life. And we can take a story and we can have three different. It's very rare that we not only agree on a story, but we agree on a story because we have lived that certain element of our life. It's very rare that happens. We can agree on a story, but we come from three different angles. If we disagree on a story, it's because we come from three different angles. So, yeah, I can put on positive stories, but the fact remains that I can't stop them from talking, and you can't stop me from talking, because these are things that's important that we need to say. At the very least, we have said it. Whether you take it or not, whether you agree with it or not, that's up to you. But I don't want to be that show that goes, I got to keep this positive because I said I could make it positive. So, things don't say nothing. Anna, don't go there. Fuck them kids. Don't say nothing. We're not going to be that show. That's not how it is here. If it's important, we can say it. And do we go off the rails? Hell yeah. For the last 3 years. Suck it up, Buttercup. We ain't changed in 3 years. We probably ain't going to change for the next 10. Let it go.
Buttercup. Glad you said Buttercup. One of the best movies of all time. The Princess Bride.
We have to stop now because we have to go to the second hour. I don't give a damn about your candy tapes because ever.
That was the best movie. What, the Princess
Bride? Movie?
I never saw the Princess Bride. Dude, that'll shut them up. That is our first hour. We're gonna go.
Whoa!
I've never seen the Princess Bride. That was.
And Foxy date night. No, trust me.
Foxy, how you put up with this man?
She's not in here. How you do that? She's not in here, so so let's stop because we got to go. We got to go into the second. We way over. We're 18 minutes over into the second hour. We're gonna come into the second hour with Am I the A-hole with a very, I'm gonna just go ahead and tell you, a very surprising return story with a twisted plot twist at the end. And of course, Foxy's videos of the week. Okay, I promise that I was gonna put on there. Let me see. Remember, this conversation started off from Kevin. Yep. Yeah.
Hello,
you never
Kevin.
saw that? No, I've never saw the Princess Bride. No. Oh no, Marlon. I've never seen the Princess Bride. I've seen the Princess Bride. Sorry, I've seen the Princess Bride. Also, did you see the winner? Also, Parker, how much did you pop when you saw The Rock return last Friday? That's just between me and Parker.
Dude, we supposed to move into the second hour. Why are we talking about The Rock?
3-minute break to reboot and refresh, and we'll see everybody on the other side. Stay tuned.
I could take a break from this world. Running on a hamster wheel, but searching for something I can't feel. I just wanna be a lost girl and fly. Take a breath, feel my wings spread, levitate above the ground and make eye contact with clouds. Now I'm rising, I'm soaring above it all. I just wanna be free. Finally, I wanna be free. I wanna be free. Finally, I wanna be free. Finally, I always daydreaming, never imagined I lose my spark. Living in this crazy time, putting back the pieces of my mind. I know how to run from the dark and fly. Feel my wings spread, levitate into the clouds. I'm so high above the ground. I'm rising, I'm soaring above it all. I just wanna be free. Finally, I wanna be free. I wanna be free. Finally, I wanna be free. Higher to a bird. You, I'm rising, I'm soaring above it all. I just wanna be free. I wanna be free. I wanna be free. I wanna be free. Finally.
Yes, I am back because I know how to show up on time for a show. I know when 3 minutes are. Unfortunately, my co-hosts have decided to abandon me. Yes, I said abandon me. Oh, I'm sorry. They're back now. They have decided to give us their presents.
I'm so
Thank you for
sorry to intrude
coming
upon
back.
your pity party, Marlon.
I'm so glad that you decided to show up again for volunteer work. You're muted.
I had to go tinkle.
When you gotta go.
I'm not paying you.
Nah.
That's it. That's the whole sentence.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead, as always, to pay those bills. Radical Truth to Power tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. No, I have absolutely no idea what we're going to talk about tomorrow. Also, please don't forget to support Tracy at buymeacoffee.com/a Tracy Media LLC. Help support Tracy in all her endeavors. Please go to BorelliEtc.com BorelliEtc.com. Help support Anna Hart in all of her endeavors. Learn something that you didn't think you need to know, but you should. And as always, if you need to reach me, you can do so at radtp@outlook.com. That's RADTP@outlook.com. I'm sorry, folks. I'm going to make a huge amount of mistakes. So doing 3 of these instead of 5 of these. So suck it up. I don't care. It took me 3 years to do 5 of them. Now it's going to take me a little longer to get down to 3. So, yeah.
You're doing good. You're doing good.
Let me see. I literally did not even see that. I'm going to have to go back and see that. Yeah, he was on there Friday. Seems to me that we laugh a lot, even when we're talking about the serious stuff. You have to.
Yeah. Otherwise, you cry.
You can't. The world has some miserable effing things.
Yep.
Like flat out. It's just freaking miserable. If you don't laugh from time to time, you're going to break down. Either mentally, physically, or both. You're going to freaking break down. You better start learning how to laugh at some situations. And you can do so by coming to this show, because there was Susan said something that was so funny about me and Thea's getting a divorce. She said, I ain't never seen 2 people laugh so hard at getting a divorce. And I was like, that's how we are. We laugh at silly crap because it's funny. You have to keep it lighthearted from time to time. You get the serious stuff out.
You gotta keep the relationship fresh.
Yeah. Yeah, that was disgusting. Positively is so difficult. It is. Yeah. That was my point. Positively is so difficult, and what we do is very difficult to do, but we found a balance of how to do it. You can't be negative all year in everything, even if you're correct. So let me just say that. Because I want nobody coming, well, what's positive about the world? Dude, sis, I'm telling you right now, you better find it. You better find a way. I'm telling you now.
There's a library in about 3 hours north of me. I used to live in this town, university town, Bellingham, right by the Canadian border in Washington. They are bringing in a mental health professional to just talk to people for free, answer some questions, probably get to some different programs that they might never have heard about, and that, I found that an incredibly positive little bit of news.
Yeah.
We're trying.
Yeah.
That's something else, man. You get a job. I missed my calling. I didn't get me a job out there to talk to people. Hey, man, let's sort through your mess.
You will make millions.
No, I wouldn't, because
yes, you would.
It's not a.
It ain't a gift for everybody. Can't do that.
Stinking my whole desk, puppy. Yeah, thank you.
Just rate breakfast foods. No, Tracy. No.
No. What? No. No, please. Please, no.
No. Oh, and by the way, if y'all public service announcement, y'all go to Tracy Carson. She has a video up that she did this afternoon. Go ahead and check that out. I appreciate it. Go ahead and support her.
TracyMediaLLC.com. It's a great site.
Go check that video out. Without further ado, am I the a-hole? Okay, so this video, we've had this story on before.
Oh.
This is the update. So to
speak. Okay.
It's a 2-parter. If y'all don't remember, and it will be said in this, so I'm going to make a real short synopsis, because the longer synopsis of what happened is in the video. Okay. So I'm just giving you a smaller one so it'll help you remember. The lady was writing about financial infidelity because her and her husband had different accounts for fun money. She bought a computer system. He got upset about it. Come to find out that he changed that to, well, you don't let yourself go. You don't cook the way you used to. You don't do the things that you used to. And blah, blah, blah. So she went out of her way to do exactly what he asked. She did her hair, did her makeup professionally. She cooked a gorgeous breakfast, a gorgeous dinner, and all she got from the husband was thanks. That turned into a whole bunch of crap that he was saying, and it all ended off. And you wasn't a virgin when we married. And yeah, you knew this before we got married. All that rigmarole just to say that he was cheating. Once she kicked her out, he went straight over to the girl's house and stayed with her. So like I said, this was a short synopsis. I know you may be confused on a lot of things. I was just trying to put something that may trigger something. But here's the first. So for everybody to not waste each other's time, yes, there is a second part of the story. So does it get worse? Yeah, it does. But here's the first part of the story to give you a background and an update, somewhat an update on what happened after that situation.
We're done.
Latest
positive,
update
right?
was accused of financial infidelity. Husband was actually cheating. Not sure if folks remember. We remember. But I had a series of posts earlier in the summer, actual links in my profile, first about whether I was the asshole for buying an expensive gaming PC, desk, and chair with my own allocation of fun money, leading to an accusation of financial infidelity from my husband. Later, he told me that the actual issue was that he was disappointed by my job, senior software dev, but not on the executive management track, relatively casual appearance, not dressing up in dresses, makeup, and heels for dinners at home, and my failure to cook extremely elaborate multi-course meals on a nightly basis. After a simple experiment showed that changing these things, the cooking and appearance anyway, would not actually make him happy, he accused me of being low value because I wasn't a virgin when we met in college 12 years ago, something he had never stated was an issue before, and then admitted he was cheating with a coworker who is now pregnant. Last I updated, he had moved in with Amy, his coworker, and we were starting the divorce process. I'm updating again here because a lot of kind people have been checking in with well wishes and to see how I'm holding up. Sorry for not updating sooner, but as soon as I got back from the spa weekend I mentioned in my last update, I dove into working with my attorney on the divorce settlement. And I didn't think it wise to put my business on the internet, however, anonymously with the legal issues up in the air. The good news is that we were able to come to an agreement pretty quickly, and everything is now executed. Just waiting for the court date, which could take another couple of months, but my lawyer says the agreement is airtight. It wasn't quite as favorable as most of you all lovely folks probably would have wanted for me, but I was highly motivated to get it done fast. I did get everything that really mattered to me. First, the house I inherited from my grandmother is 100% mine, along with all the furnishings and other effects in the house. My own retirement accounts and my fun money account are all mine as well. Otherwise, I did have to give him 75% of the other cash assets. Although he wasn't on the title for the house, he did contribute substantially to the large renovation we did, as well as to upkeep since then. And the house appreciated very substantially in the years since we moved in. It's fine as I still have plenty of money, especially as I'm quite frugal most of the time and can rebuild cash savings quickly. Our agreement also states that neither of us has a claim on each other's past, present, or future earnings. So in case something happens and he loses his job before the court date, I won't be liable for any alimony. This is actually overall a very good deal for me and gives me a lot of security. In case anyone is wondering how we got this done so quickly, our state allows divorce on mutual consent grounds, which basically allows for a quick divorce without a legal separation period if the parties come to an agreement about all of the finances/assets. Given that Amy is pregnant, my soon-to-be ex, let's call him Joe, yes, like the psychopath in the show You, was also very motivated to not drag this out.
Okay, so hope that helps to remember that story.
When she mentioned the chair, the gamer chair, that sparked my memory.
Yeah. And it's been a while back, so if y'all don't remember, then hey, this may be new to you. So That's pretty much what happened. It went just, the dude was full of crap, basically.
He was the a-hole.
He was the a. You know what? Come and think of it, we've been doing really good on our cussing. I don't think we. Maybe it's the Sunday shows where we just like, help it, I'm gonna cuss. So there's the story and there's the update afterwards. The second video which is a little over 4 minutes, so this is your warning to go ahead and just chill out, turn it up loud, go get you a cup of tea or something and just relax or listen and go do something else, because it's about 4 minutes long. But I ask of you so much to please listen, because I couldn't figure out why this lady was coming back when she this is my thought process. I couldn't figure out when I saw the video and she gave that update. I went, okay, so why is this longer than what it should be? Because I thought that was it. Oh no. Oh no. This went so left. It ain't funny. This went a direction that you would think somebody who looks at about 1,000 of these Reddit stories a year would have saw this coming. I did not see this coming. And I will give you a heads up on how I did not see this coming, just to give you an introduction to the story. The pregnant girlfriend calls OP.
Now for the real dirt of this update. Last weekend, shortly after all of our papers were signed, Amy reached out to me. She asked if we could meet and talk. Perhaps I should have declined, but I will admit that I was curious about the 24-year-old prodigy and until recently a virgin person who was Joe's affair partner, so I agreed to meet her for lunch. So the first thing is Amy is very pregnant, like third trimester. She confirmed she is due in mid-October, which means the affair has been going on a whole lot longer than Joe let on. Whatever, it's water under the bridge as the divorce is almost final. However, after some polite but chilly pleasantries, she asked me, when am I going to be moving out of the house? Because surely Joe has been patient enough with giving me time to get my life together, and her apartment is small and they're needing a space for the baby. OP gets to keep the house, remember. Amy doesn't know this, apparently. What? I told her she must be mistaken, as the house is mine, inherited from my grandmother, but asked her what else has Joe told her about me and our marriage. And lie after lie, Joe's lies, that is, tumbled out of her mouth along with crumbs of the real story. These gems include, well, it was true that she and Joe met at work, but it was about a year ago, when they were both interviewing for the executive training program they are now in. Amy said, though, that they first became friends before getting together romantically. Apparently, Joe told her that he was legally married, but that we have been separated in spirit and living separate lives since 2020. But he didn't want to kick me out and make me homeless during the pandemic because I didn't make much money and we live in an HCOL. Joe told Amy that we met in our early 20s when he was mentoring me in a GED prep program, that I was a high school dropout who was struggling with addiction, and essentially that he rescued me, helped me get clean, tutored me for my GED, and had been supporting me since gradually working on college classes. He told Amy I was working on prepping for an IT career and was currently making $45K as a help desk technician, and that he wanted to make sure I could at least afford a studio apartment. He also told Amy that we had separated because I had relapsed and he couldn't have a meaningful relationship with a drug addict. Ugh. All of this is lies. My entire history of drug use is occasionally sharing a joint in college, maybe 4 to 5 times total. Never anything harder. It is true that Amy was a 24-year-old virgin prodigy. She seemed dismayed that Joe had told me that, though, at least the virgin part. Said it wasn't a moral issue, she really was just focused on school and work and didn't make time to date. and that generally guys her age seemed mostly interested in casual hookups, especially the younger finance bro types, and she wasn't interested in that, but that Joe took the time to get to know her and was actually interested in a meaningful relationship. I asked her if the pregnancy was planned. She said no, of course not, but it was a miracle because Joe had a vasectomy, so they took that as a sign that they should keep the baby. No, Joe did not have a vasectomy. As we were planning to be a child-free couple, I suggested it a couple of times over the years. He firmly stated he didn't want to alter his body like that, so he left birth control as my responsibility. So it really does seem that Amy is pretty blameless here. I mean, those of us who have been around the block would likely know not to believe a guy who claims to be separated but is still legally married and living with his wife, but without her having any dating or relationship experience, I can see where she would have taken him at his word about everything. After all, I didn't know anything was amiss with Joe until a couple of months ago, and I was married to him. Of course, Amy didn't want to believe me, and I don't blame her for that either. After all, she's been in a relationship with Joe for close to a year and is 7+ months pregnant with his baby, who is coming soon, ready or not. I couldn't immediately refute everything she said, but showed her a couple of things. First, a picture of me in my late teens with my grandmother in front of my house, and also my LinkedIn profile, which shows my current job and education. I told her to do what she wanted with the info and to please stay safe and take care of herself, and then said my goodbyes. Yes, it was all very odd and unexpected and surreal. Sorry this is so long, but figured those following my tale would be interested in this turn. I'm not sure if I will update again, maybe in a year or so when I have truly processed everything with lots of therapy and I'm hopefully on to living my best life. As for Joe and Amy, it's up to them to find whatever their path is. I do hope she wises up and leaves him, but I'm sadly not confident about that. I'm sure he will be able to spin all of this in his favor because that's what he does, but I also can't make it my problem anymore.
Okay, for anybody say anything, HCOL, high cost of living
Oh,
location.
thank you.
That's what that means.
The amount of lies.
This guy has a, again,
Fantasy life.
oh, come on, Anna. He has a savior mentality. He has this thing where he just feels like his value is not greatly appreciated without him spinning a story of how he saved people. It was so wretched. And I say this because of what I said about bullies and about people who the only way they feel better about themselves is to make people lower than them. That's the only way they feel better about themselves. They have to diminish somebody else's life for them to feel better about their lives. This dude is a piece of trash because you basically just called your wife, who you cheated on, an addict that you saved from the very beginning, by the way. And then you had to keep the lie going by, I can't leave because I feel that she's going to overdose. I would love for you to try to explain it. What the hell did you show up at the last minute to the house all of a sudden, did? But I'm not dating you. And then you went on and on about the house, which I don't even know when the hell your end game was. Dude, after a certain amount of time, you don't think the questions would have came out about why the hell we ain't moved in yet? So this is the education don't make you bright. It just makes you educated enough to get a well-paying job. I wouldn't take that away from you. I would take away that the hard work that you did and the dedication that you did at your job. You may have did hard work at your job. You may have been very well educated. You may deserve everything that you got at the job. That does not mean that you're bright, because you can't think 2 steps ahead, that you're just holding off until time. I don't know where you was going with this. Lady, Now let me get on you. He was getting to know you so he'll know how to talk to you. That was the point of him getting to know you. You know, you're not going to believe everything that OP said. Let's just put that out. The ex-wife versus the father of your child. Let's be realistic. Plus, you don't have a lot of dating experience. Adult dating experience, I should say. May not be your fault. Because the reason why you didn't have it is because you was concentrating on your education. Admirable thing to do.
And we just talked about another story where the young, I believe, woman was, just so concentrated on that her whole love story seemed like a middle school tale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Sorry,
I'm not going to jump on you as much as I jump on the OP because you was used. What I will jump on, because there's a part of the story where the OP did say a year from now she'll update everybody on. A year from now, if there's no changes, then it is you. It hurts.
I must have missed something.
No, let me finish. It's going to hurt. It's going to be painful. It's going to be devastating. But I'm going to tell you right now, you need to go ahead and get through that because it ain't going to get better. You staying with him is just not going to get better. People like this are, I don't want to use that word, are users. I know I was going to use the P word, but he's not a P word because I don't want to take that away from real P words. Predators. Sorry, didn't want to use the wrong. That P word is several words. Sorry.
Well, there's a lot of P words out there.
Yeah. I don't want to call him a predator because I don't want to take away the meaning of real predators out there.
Right.
But he is a user. He is a manipulator. He is flat out a liar. So yeah. So Theus, let me try to figure out exactly what Theus is gonna say. Go ahead, Anna. I'm trying to put everything that Theus is gonna say in order.
Okay. This guy was not living in reality. He had a whole fantasy world in his head. Yeah, he was the hero. He got to help the poor woman, and I would hope the young lady starts asking questions. I just find it strange. The entire relationship is based upon lies. I don't have much else to say.
I'll be honest with you. I blanked out multiple times in this story because, well, whatever. So I'm just gonna give some life advice to people out there. Be it a man or a woman, if they tell you that they are separated, good for them. You don't get involved with them. See, people need to get past always being worried they're missing out on something. You ain't missing out on nothing. You living your life. You've had ups, you've had downs, all that good shit. Just live your damn life. Stop thinking you're missing out on something. So if somebody tells you that yes, I'm married, but we're separated and we've been separated for a long time. We have a loveless marriage, and that may all be true.
Maybe.
They may be separated for the last 10 years. Not your problem. You don't get involved with someone who is separated because there are encumbrances there that they have decided they're not willing to clean up. That's why they're separated. So, divorce papers, and I recommend not even being fresh divorce papers because you don't want to be the rebound. But anyway, that part's up to you. Govern yourself accordingly. But if somebody says that they still married, leave them alone. Just leave them alone. And if you in the mode that you're looking for a relationship or you're open to a relationship or something like that, then don't even interact with them. Don't even become friends and buddy buddy with them. If you're not interested in nothing like that, and it's just a coworker, and you don't shit where you eat, then be friends. But don't get involved with nobody who say they separated. That's just that simple. And this whole thing would have been taken care of. And then, all right, so they didn't do that. Now the girl's pregnant. He's got a type. Okay? Guys like this have a type, just like women have a type that attracts them to guys like this. So he's going to get over on the new girl too. And he's going to be fine, and he's going to be a good partner, and he's going to be all those things so long as his lies and his stories hold up and she feeds his fantasy. The moment that she starts to see through the fantasy or things start to fall apart, then he will recreate this with a different person, and he'll move on to that. That's his coping mechanism. That's his way. So that's who he's going to be. So this poor young lady who's about to have a baby, we don't know what's going to happen with her, but it probably ain't going to be good. The ex-wife, y'all ain't had no kids. The only thing you have is an emotional tie. Better cry that shit out somewhere. Go get you a therapist if that's what you into. But move the fuck on. You're done. You're done.
Yeah.
You know, you're done.
Mm-hmm.
Just let it go. Ain't even nothing even just like dig into. You're done.
Move on.
So to me, this whole thing is just very simple.
So what did we miss?
I don't know what I might have missed. I literally blanked out multiple times listening to this story. I don't know. I don't know what you were talking about a year from now. I don't know what you're talking about as far
She
as
was
like
saying she might.
I don't know.
She was saying she might update it a year from now.
Update what?
There is.
Now the baby's taking his first steps. What?
I don't know.
Because
Mm-hmm.
again, Reddit.
People can't stay out of folk business.
That too. I mean, let's narrow down Reddit. If we really want to narrow down a whole bunch of stuff about Reddit,
Jerry Springer online.
Every story, we can look at every story on Reddit and say, "That's your damn business. Keep it in house."
Mm-hmm.
It's very rarely that we have a story where people are freaking lost and they don't know what to do and they're really reaching out to the community like, I don't know what's going on. Trust me when I listen to a whole bunch of stories where this dude robbed my house. The second time he robbed my house, I hit him in the head. He never robbed my house. Now, one person that I talked to at the bus stop said that I was wrong. So I'm coming on here to ask Reddick, am I wrong? It's very rare we don't get freaking stories like that.
Marlon, it's funny you use that. Do you recall? This is early in our Reddit history type of thing where I was saying why I don't like Reddit. And you and the other guy were like, well, people sometimes are just looking for help.
I agree with you.
Those are exceptions.
But
it's
what did you
mess.
Just say? It was early.
It's mess.
It's story, but I put it on this show because it's stories. Because once again, you got to remember, I don't put this on the story because the stories make sense. It's common sense to us. I put it on the story because we have a way of making every story to another story. And
Yeah, it's
those
a
are the
good
ones that
conversation
make
starter.
sense.
Mhm.
Yeah, it starts something else. By the way, yeah, I lost. That ain't nowhere near what I said. Thought you was gonna say. So, the point is,
What did you think I was gonna say?
no, the girl should have known better and blah 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 and everything else. Because I'm still upset with you about
How does
last week.
that sound like me?
I'm still mad at you about the story from last week. When you said, the
Story from
girl
last
should have
week.
known. The story about the girl should have known better, and I'm gonna break up with you
With
because
a
you put
drink.
yourself in the situation and everything else. And I'm just like, yeah.
Yeah, but
I
it's a
still got to
difference in
narrow
what happened
myself
here.
that that's you and that's your perspective. I'm not getting no
Yeah, it's a
you.
difference in what happened between those two scenarios.
Okay, I don't know
One
which
is being
direction
aware of your physical around. One is being physical about being aware of your physical surroundings, and another is someone taking advantage of you emotionally. You can't really defend too much against the emotional shit because that's why they do what they do. Right? It's over time. It's slow. They work their way through your life, and there's not a lot of defense you have, unfortunately, for those types of people.
but I can connect the two together though. It's knowledge. She did not have the knowledge to know that this crap was coming. And like I said, I'm not jumping on a lady.
There's no
I'm
way
not.
for her to know. Other than when he said I'm separated, that's the
She did
one that
not
should have been
have.
like, no.
She did not have the experience to know. Wait, I need to question certain
Do some
things.
checking.
Yeah, she had no. She did not have the
Yeah.
experience to know. And I need to
Mm.
check some of the stuff that this dude is saying because he's really laying it on. Just like I was saying last week about.
She was a grown up though.
The other lady was a grown up.
Even if she didn't have a lot of dating experience, she should have a certain level of bullshit detector. But I don't know that she would have
No,
been able to
that's
stop
not
this guy.
true at
This
all.
guy was he chose a target and he worked his target. I mean, I don't know what she really could have done.
You can't work a target that knows you coming. It's very hard to do.
Right.
If you have
Well,
enough experience to know, okay, this dude is full of crap. Okay, I don't think I need to talk to you. If you don't
that's
have the
not how the
experience to
game
know
works,
he's
bro.
full of crap,
That's not how the game works, bro. People get played by people all the time.
okay, let me put it to you
All
this:
the time.
your relationship SOP, so to speak,
Standard operating procedure.
standard operation procedure. Okay, sorry, but the new people here, standard operation procedure, SOP. Was it
Steak, onion, and
developed?
potato.
Say what?
A different SOP.
Anyway, my point is, did you develop that over time? And if you say yes, was it over time from the experiences that you lived?
Come on, me.
Yes.
I would say, in conservatively speaking, 80% of what I am, I was this way when I was 13, 14 years old.
Okay. If you was that like that for 13 or 14 years old,
I've been
what
old a long ass time. And I'm not a normal person. I'm not like everybody.
you
I know it.
really were if you made a SOP at 13 or 14. But my question
I
is,
started writing my
what
personal
happened at
code when I was 10. What are you talking about?
I was saying, what happened at 11? Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. So what happened at 10, 11, and 12 that you developed this
I,
at
I
13 and
learned
14?
I learned by observing. It's not like I had a very healthy dating life when I was younger. I was I was I looked like Steve Urkel with 90s fashion sense, right? I mean, I was, size 15 shoe, 5 foot nothing, big old head, thick ass glasses. Man, every girl I got on personality. Please believe. So no, it's just, but I am a different type of person, and I've always been a different type of person. So I don't hold people to all of my standards. I'm just saying that there are certain things that you don't have to experience to be like, yo, here are some red flags, here are some things to be concerned about. But with this particular story, notice I didn't place any of the blame on this young lady because she got played. You see what I'm saying? In order to get played, that's someone who abused your trust. I can't blame you for trusting the wrong person. I blame the person who chose to abuse your trust. But in the other scenario, this was in it's in a club, it's in a party. You're supposed to be on high alert, and you broke one of the cardinal rules. That's not being played. That's being victimized.
But that's what
And in that story, I said that was where I say she messed up. But where I said I would have a problem as her fiance was her waking up at somebody else's house. Because at that point, it is no story you can give me. So those are actually two different things. One is me telling you, you should govern yourselves this particular way when you're drinking in a public setting. That's one thing. Next thing, as my fiance, I found out you were at another person's house. I don't give a fuck about the backstory unless we head into the police station. Two different things.
Tracy, you may have come in late. I said the first hour was going to be positive, and the chances are me doing this ever again is slim to none. Not because of anything that we've said on this show.
I'm about to say, me and Anna had a good conversation about things.
Not because of anything that's done on this show. It's because I just can't find positive stories. I may find more lighthearted stories. I'll do my best though. I did leave one story because we was running late. So, but yeah. But
yesterday I went to the store, but I noticed my shoe was untied. So I bent down to tie my shoe. They were nice shoes. I had just bought them the week before. They had those slippery laces that you get on those dress shoes. But anyway, as I bent down to tie my shoe, a wrecking ball went right over my head and slammed into an orphanage. And it was a terrifying thing. On the one hand, I was grateful that I was able to duck just in time. But on the other hand, it did strike that orphanage. But it all worked out okay because the lady who fell out the window was holding a baby. And when our eyes met and I caught her before she hit the ground, we fell instantly in love and we adopted that baby together. Still a good story.
True story. Thank you,
Anna, before you even start, for giving me a true damn story. Appreciate it. Thank you.
I gave you a Reddit story.
There's a young lady who was incredible at snowboarding on her way to the Olympics. Her whole career got derailed by a tick bite. And there were years where she didn't know what was wrong with her. Was this her life from now on? She got to a good doctor. She got cured. This was a rare case of she got back to what she was doing beforehand. She went to the Olympics. We were very proud of her.
That's
a nice story.
I'm gonna say this real quick. Please, two requests. Please believe there are nice things out here in this world. The worst case scenario on a lot of situations are the stories that get out to everybody. It's the way it is till everybody decides to change it. Number two, and most importantly, please do not become the person. And no, I'm not saying that anybody on this panel, anybody that's in the audience is this type of person. So just to put that forefront, please do not take every positive story and believe, yeah, but it is really not worth living your life like that. And I know Theus was joking, but I know Theus is not like that type of person in a way. But there are type of people.
What are you talking about?
The story about the wrecking ball. You just said it like 30 seconds ago. What are you talking about? What am I talking about?
I didn't know what you were talking about. You were like, Thea,
I
that
was
type of
so
person. I'm like,
No, I
confused.
was
damn, what the
saying
hell
I
did
know
Thea
Diaz
do?
I know Diaz was making a joke about what he was saying, but you do have people who have a feel good story and just go, yeah, but what about and what happened when and everything. It's the same people who, and I'm just making it just small, just to I won $1,000 in the lottery. Yeah, that's good news. Wait till them taxes come out. It's like, what the fuck? Why did you say that? Why did you have to say that? Like, it's something in somebody's system, learned, conscious or unconscious. I don't know. Don't really honestly care. That you have to take good news and somehow turn it real. It's not real. You're just a negative ass damn person. Stop that.
Sometimes it just be real. Sometimes that shit just be real.
No, not
Look,
honestly. Not this. Honestly, not really. Honestly, there's
just
just some
because you don't
people
want
that
to
just don't
hear
like
it.
no damn body else being happy but themselves.
That's true. You got miserable people who like to share misery. That is true.
Yeah.
But, and that's also like when people say, I'm just being honest. Yes, you can be honest, but you don't have to be an asshole as you're being honest. That the flavor you chose, the seasoning you put on your honesty was a choice.
Funny thing
You
about that,
know,
that is the funny thing about what you just said is sometimes you got to be an asshole to help people.
this is
And that's
also
what
true.
and that's what I mean. And
But if
it's
you
like
always the asshole,
what was it? What's the saying? If you walk down the street, and bump into somebody and they don't say nothing, they're the asshole. If you walk down the street and everybody you bumped into is the asshole, maybe you're the asshole. I can't stand people who honest. The worst statement, or what do you call it, is when everything has to have a title, a catchphrase, or whatever. It always MAGA, woke, sloganeering. So Diaz didn't say it. Slogan. Everything has to have a slogan.
Okay.
I'm just being real is the most toxic ass damn statement I can. Well, no. Petty has always been mine because I couldn't stand that. I'm petty. I'm petty. Shut the fuck up. Stop that. That's stupid. Sorry. I'm not calling you stupid, but you justifying being petty is not something funny. But the second always
well,
been I'm just being real. I'm just being real. Have you noticed that you always being real? There's a certain way where it's like, look, I have to be honest with you, and this is what I think. And I'm just gonna be bluntly honest with you because I see you going down this pathway. Do you know this and Anna, when I will get to that conversation with you on that, the third conversation I'm having with you? Because the first conversation I'm having with you, I'm coming from a light-hearted situation. I'm trying to learn what's going on. The second conversation I'm having with you is like, okay, I get what's going on. I see you're not changing it. So let me be a little more forthcoming with what my thought process is. That third conversation, and you're still, I don't see any changes from you, but you're still asking me, okay, I'm gonna be blunt with you. Because now you're wasting my time and you're wasting your time. And now I feel like the clock is ticking and it's going to get worse if you don't put a change to it. So now I do have to be completely and utterly blunt with you. Guess what's going to happen? Guess what's going to happen the fourth time? There won't be. There will not be a fourth time. You do you. You figure it out. Because I'm not going to sit here and put myself through this. What I know what I'm doing is purposely going out of my way to help you. I'm not getting anything out of I'm not going to get anything out of helping you. This is specifically for you to help you. No, I
It's
don't
not
even
my
get
approach, but I can feel you.
So, but there are people so I had to say this to say this. With people, I've talked to you, and this is the third conversation I'm having. You got people who that third conversation is the first conversation. I don't like them people.
Well,
Wait.
no. So here's the thing, because what he's saying is the third conversation is that he's real blunt with them. But
Yeah,
here's
the
the
third
thing.
conversation
I
I'm
think
having
if you
for you
go,
is blunt. The first
I'm
conversation they're
always going. Yeah, I'm always going to be nice. I mean, and I'm always going to be truthful. Always, because I believe everything I do is a reflection of my personal integrity, which is why sometimes I get a little out of pocket when we talk about things, because I'm coming at you 100%. Like, because that way I don't have to remember what the fuck I said later. I know what I said, because I'm going to say the same thing later that I said this time. You know what I'm saying? I didn't do a whole lot of meandering on that. But I think this is a matter of delivery. And the delivery you use depends on the circumstances that you're dealing with. But for me, even the first time, second time, third time, none of it's going to be overly aggressive, most likely, because I don't care like that, right? I'm more about you. Like, what is it that I need to say to convey this message to you, how you can receive it this time, right? The message is going to be the same each time, but my word choice will vary some, because I'm trying to figure out how do I get it to you in this setting, because each time you come, it is slightly different, right? And the first time you might have came and you were asking because you felt like you're supposed to ask, but your heart wasn't in it, right? I'm still going to give you the information. I'm still going to give you the advice. I'm still going to give you the guidance. And then if you're the type of person who has ready access to me, then you're probably going to do it again. And this time is going to be where you did whatever you decided to do, ignored everything I said. You went and did something else. But you coming to me with pretty much the same question. I'm still going to give you my advice. I'm still going to try to help you. The words may be a little different. I'm going to pick up from a different point probably, because I'm the type of person where I like always bring me your questions. But if we're going to revisit a subject, your questions should sound different, right? So they need to build off of something,
Yeah.
right? And then we just kind of run down the path. Now, for some people, I got one shot with you and I'm done. I don't want to be bothered with it. I can see where you're headed is just pure mess, and I'm not trying to be in the mess with you. But then there's some people, we can run around this sucker 8, 9, 12 times. I'm still gonna be right there. I'm still gonna try to help you. Now the type of help you get might be a little different, right? Because we're further down the path here. I'm not gonna be breaking bread. When I used to like give you money or might help take you to the store or something like that. So how I'm helping may change, but I'm still flowing the way I flow. You know what I'm saying? Like, but what the people that I don't like, which is I think what you were kind of touching on, Marlon, are the ones who the reason they're helping and the type of help they're giving is not about the person that they're trying to help. It's about themselves.
Yes.
So if your reason for giving this advice of trying to help somebody is about you getting a clap on the back, or you being told thank you the right way, or you having the satisfaction of them following your instructions to a T, or whatever it is, that's all about you. They ain't about them. So you ain't got no business trying to help them no way, if that's where you're coming from, right? But if it's truly you're coming at it from a servant's mentality, you know, I think your approach can differ. But some people don't do that. Some people is all about themselves, and then they're gonna be like, "Well, that's just stupid, and you're stupid for doing it," and blah blah blah. Blah. You're not trying to help that person, you know. And everything you're saying could be true, but you saying it in such a way that the other person can't do nothing but be on the defensive or be hurt. I don't dig that. Those people do bother me.
Though that's exactly who I was talking about. I don't like the people who go from 0 to 60 on everything. You're not helping. As a matter of fact, you go out of your way to tell everybody, I'm real, I'm blood. I just tell it the way it is. That's the way I am. I was like, okay. So let me ask you this question. And I literally, years ago, I mean, I think years ago, even before this show even started, I asked some guy on Facebook, if you're so blunt to the point that you hurt people's feelings, why would they come to you? I'll never forget his statement was, oh, well, but they got the truth. It's like, so you determine everything that comes out of your mouth is the truth? I ain't got the lie.
It may be true. What you're saying to that person may be 100% true. It may be backed by all the facts. It may be all of those things. But if it's not being delivered in a way that the person can consume it, what was the point? Right? Exactly. If you need this medication inside your body, and the only way that I choose to give it to you is a pill, am I really getting the treatment to you that you need, when maybe it needed to be intravenous, maybe it needed to be psychological, maybe there's all these different ways to get at it. But if all you have is what did I say? If you see everything as a nail, then like all you have is a hammer. If all you have is a hammer, everything's a nail. Like that type of thing.
Yeah, if you have a hammer, all you see is a nail. Everything
right,
you see is a nail. Yeah.
And see, that's those people. Those people don't have a servant's mindset. And everybody in life ain't gonna have one. And everybody in life doesn't need to have one. Okay. We all play a role, you know. But if that's how you roll, where it's all about what am I getting out of this interaction, then you need to have enough compassion somewhere in you to refer that person to someone else that can help them better, or introduce them to somebody else that can help them better. And now you get what you wanted. Now you feel like the good guy because you made this connection happen.
Yep.
Yeah, that's cool. But don't go making people cry, or I mean, sometimes you gotta make people cry, but don't go and breaking people. Don't go intentionally breaking people. I think that's it. Don't go. Just stop it. What are you getting from that?
Foxy's videos of the week. All right, we're on the last stretch of tonight. Let's go ahead and get through it. I feel like I should have did what Theas and Anna did at the first break, but that's okay. Honestly, this literally just does not make sense. The stuff this young lady is talking about is just toxic to relationships, and I really wish she would stop talking.
The worst text to send a girl.
Any guesses on what that could be?
The morning text. Good morning, sweetheart. How are you doing? Hope you slept well. You're basically saying you're a simp. That text is not masculine.
Wait, I thought that was one of those bare minimum texts.
It's not a good text.
And why is that not a good text?
It shows needy.
Needy? How so?
It just shows that like, oh, I was thinking about you and I was hoping your morning was going well. That's not what you want to come across as.
Let me get this straight. A guy is now not supposed to come across as caring about someone else. Got it.
Always, always remember, texting is only to set up the date.
Since when?
Men fall into this trap of sending good morning texts, sending texts like, hey, how was your week? And wanting to talk and have these big elaborate conversation over text.
Oh, how awful. Having elaborate and in-depth conversations with another person via text message. What has the world come to?
But what happens is you fall into friend zone or you become her pen pal.
After hearing that, It's no small wonder to me why, after men have been receiving so many different bits of advice and mixed messages when it comes to what to do and how to do it when it comes to dating, it's no small wonder that so many men have just decided to throw in the towel and give up on it altogether. They just can't win, can they?
All right, look. First disclaimer. I've been out the dating game for a long ass time. But I think the way that I was taught to date is the way that is timeless. And for the right person, it's the right way. That whole video is kind of confusing. So if that's how that lady feels that she wants to be dated, then there's nothing wrong with that. That's how she wants to be dated. Unfortunately, it sounds like someone who's never truly been, what's the word, courted. So she's kind of adjusting to the dating norms of today, where it's kind of more like a quick order type of thing. Like it's transactional. It's very transactional. So those other things seem like wasting time. So it's like, oh, you're trying to get to know me, so you just want to be my friend, right? Because I've heard where if you follow like my dating process, women would call you gay because you're not trying to run up on them on the first date. You know what I'm saying? I come from a different time. You know what I'm saying? We communicate, we talk. We're not gonna do all this shit over the text. I'd be damned if the first time I'm having a communication with you is over text message. That just is too impersonal for me because I'm from another time. These people now, the younger people trying to figure it out, I can't tell them they're wrong. I'm just saying good luck to you. I don't know how you really can ever, I don't know, but good luck to you. People find ways to get connected all the time. So right people, right chance, right circumstance, go for it. But and then the other thing with the lady who was talking from the reasonable side, here's my sexist comment, so to speak, but I truly believe this, and it probably works for you too, ladies. Don't listen to what the hell a woman tell you that she wants in her dating life. Don't listen to that shit. Everybody when they starting to date and doing that talking shit, that's representative talk. That's I should want this thing, so I'm gonna tell you the things that I should want. I should want to be treated this way. Slow down. Don't be in a rush. Get to know her, not just from what she's saying to you, but how she's saying, when she's saying, what she's doing, what she's not doing. Take the extra effort to read between the lines. Because if you're listening to what she's saying, you're probably going to miss the boat because everybody's lying. Everybody's trying to shade themselves to protect themselves from being hurt. But in so doing, they're giving you clues. So learn the person. Show them why you're different. Show them why you are something special. That's how you find out in a random conversation. Yeah, she says that her favorite flower is I don't know, a lily, right? Because that's my favorite flower. So it is a lily.
That's a lovely
But
thought.
you right, but because you're not paying attention, you show up with roses because that's what you were told. You know, my daddy, pay attention to her. It's not that hard to do. If you're not worried about losing what you don't already, that you already don't have any damn way, you'll be able to slow down and just make this thing move and be willing to let it go. Once you realize this ain't a match, right? Just walk away. Don't do this thing where you bad mouthing her to all your boys, or you bad mouthing him to all your girls, or you blowing them up on social media, or every secret you ever learned about them, you putting it out that on blast. We got to stop that. That's why I tell people. That's why I tell young men now. One, don't listen to what she's saying. Listen to what she's communicating. Two, whatever you learned about her personally, that stays with you. You don't get it to nobody else. I don't care how mad she makes you. I don't care how bad the breakup is. I don't care about any of that. Everything you know that could hurt her, that leaves with you. You don't put that out on the street. But who am I? I'm a dinosaur, and I'm an old patriarchy, sexist curmudgeon. So
here is going to be a shocker to everybody. I agree with this. I'm agreeing with this on this situation right here. As soon as you put your business out on Facebook, you have decided, and I'm going to go way out here with my analogy. Be prepared. When you decide to put your relationship of whatever way that it is, meet, breakup, issues, problems, whatever it is, and you put it on social media, you have decided upon everybody else that you have created a new TV show. When we decided to look into your new TV show, we're looking at the next episode. When we decide to look into the next episode, and you at any point, you want people to stay out of your business, fuck you. I want the new episode. I have been invested into this new show for the longest time. What's new?
I don't agree with that, but I hear what you're saying.
No, I do. Because I'm going to tell you this. When you put your business out there, then stop telling people to stay out of your business. You put your business out there. I didn't walk up to your house and ask, hey, what's going on in your household? What's going on in your relationship?
No, but you decided to stay in the business.
Yes, I did. Right. And you decided to put it out there. I decided to.
I agree, but that doesn't absolve you of being a busybody.
Don't want to. Don't want to. I mean,
well, that's messy.
Me personally,
I'm saying for those people, right? But then those same people will be offended if you call them messy.
Mm-hmm.
They don't like being called out either. I'm like, hey, you wrong for putting your business in the street, because once you put it out there, it's out there. Right? Can't pull that back. But then you also got to look at yourself when you're the one that's always trying to look for somebody else's business to be in. Why you want to be in somebody else's business?
But my deal is this, though. The funny thing that when you say something like that is, you will be amazed at somebody when they say stay out of my business is when they disagree with you. When they agree with you, there's no problem with it. When they disagree with you, stay out of my business. Like, hell, wait a minute. So I have to agree with you to keep this show going?
Pretty much. They want an amen corner.
No.
Which is where the challenge comes in for people like yourself that are creators, right? That's why, as a creator, the counsel I would give people like yourself is you have to stand on what it is that you were trying to do, right? And then let those who stick, and those who fall. But that's you as a creator. The difference in this discussion is when you're just a person and you're venting too much on social media, right? Now you put your business out basically on the street. And you might have done it because in that moment, you were hurting, you were inebriated, you just didn't think it all the way through, and you needed to lash out, and this was a way to lash out without lashing directly at a person. So you did that. Bad move, wasn't smart, but I think most of us have done it at some point. But now it's out there. I still say the same thing that my pastor said one day. He was talking about the gossiping and the busybody. He was like, you need to ask yourself, what is it about you that makes them think it's okay to come and gossip to you? So, yes, why are you putting your business in the street? True, fair question. Next question, why are you picking up other people's business from the street?
Well, okay, if it's a place like Instagram, the whole purpose is to, like, show your pictures, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you miss?
Because you still get to choose what you're paying attention to, right? So
Okay.
Facebook, Instagram, whatever, TikTok, whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
it's not the problem that you're in the social square. You're in the social square.
Mhm.
But you're choosing which content you decide to spend the time on.
Right.
You
Right.
could scroll past it, you could swipe by it, or you can open it up and read into it. Completely, we make those decisions ourselves each and every time. And I'm just saying, you're not always going to make the responsible decision, right? But just own that why you did whatever that you did, right? Why do you like mess? Why do you like ratchet? Why do you like politics? Why do you like science? What? Something you are gravitating to that for a reason. And you're choosing this story over that story on a constant basis. So, yes, why bad on the content creator for creating whatever mess and then turning around saying, well, you shouldn't leave me alone. You picking on me. But then at the same time, why are you picking on them? So
I get it. Oh, and for future references, and I'm trying to make this a habit, I text my wife every morning.
Some of my
that's nice.
favorite.
I ain't doing
I do it every morning.
it.
I do it every morning. Even if
Morning, baby. Love you.
even
That's
if
what you
it's a
give me.
wave emoji and a heart emoji, I do it every morning. And
So
believe
y'all don't
me,
wake up at the same time, probably though.
no, we don't.
So that makes sense.
So I used to didn't do it. I hate that I didn't do it all the time. But now I've made it my mission to make sure that I do it every morning.
No.
I like that. That shows that y'all are so in love. It's so sweet. And I know I sound sarcastic, but I'm not really being sarcastic. It's that's sweet. That's sweet. I think it's good to always find a way to engage with your life partner. I think that's really cool. Our method is I don't like my phone. I hate my phone. I don't use my phone. So if you've ever messaged me or texted me, you know it could be hours before I see anything you sent me. And if you call me, it could be days before I realize that you called me. Don't you ever leave me a voicemail or try to call me. It's a bad move. If it's urgent, you call my wife or you call my daughter because those are the two people who will always have a way to get to me.
I have texted Thea some information, and I promise you, it'll be either hours or days, and he'll sit there. Yep, that's right. I'm like, right on what? What the hell did I send you? Oh, okay, dude, that was
Pretty regular
Thursday.
on our group chat.
That was Thursday. No, just Thea's. But if you do a
Of
group
both of
chat,
you.
if you
No,
do a
look
group
at look
chat,
at the
there's a 50-50
timestamps
chance
on those
Thea's will
group
get
chats.
to you. There's a 50-50 chance Thea's will get there. But if you do Thea's like, yo, look at this, man. This is a cool concept, or this is a cool look at this situation and everything else. And you completely forgot about it. The world has moved on, new issues, new solutions, blah, blah, blah. And Thea will text you with, man, that's wild. Dude, I have no idea what the hell I sent you. I have no idea what you're talking about. What's
It may,
right?
hey, it
What's
might be
wrong?
tomorrow for you, but it's yesterday for me. Okay, so
Mhm.
and what I was saying, Anna, is if you look at the timestamps on those,
Yeah.
if it depends on which phone I literally have in my possession, because one phone has those bubbles that pop up, and the other
Okay.
phone doesn't. Right, my main phone I don't have it where a bubble pops up.
So you don't have
So if
notifications.
I don't even know, so y'all be having a whole full on conversation, and I come in and be like, "Yep, 3 days late,
We've
4 hours late."
but funny
Like,
thing about it is, Anna, you have done the same thing though. Like me and Theas will get on a roll holding a full conversation on our group chat, and then you come in, LOL. Me and Thea made like 50,000 jokes. I don't even know what the hell is.
We see it when we see it.
We'll see it
Yeah.
when we see it. All right, next video real quick. This kind of political, so let's go ahead and roll through it because it's getting kind of late real quick. But we have said this many times on this show when they start saying the quiet part out loud. But this statement right here, okay, I don't know right now if you getting really, really dangerous or you really don't give a F or a combination of both because this is just wild.
I'm sorry. What the hell did you just say? For a long time now, people on the left have been telling you guys, listen to what they're saying. They say the quiet part out loud. They are not afraid of it. And this is a great example. Listen to this so-called Christian conservative actually invoke the names of Stalin, Mao, and Hitler when talking about education and saying that we actually need to get back to that.
Basically, this is an evangelistic movement on the left, and that's what's happening. It's indoctrination. I mean, they are proselytizing to the next generation. And what we're discovering as parents and conservatives is, wait a second, education really is evangelism. So if you don't control education, you cannot control the future. And Stalin knew that, Mao knew that, right? Hitler knew that. We have to get that back for conservative values.
They literally equate their Christian conservative values to Hitler, Mao, and Stalin. So when we correctly call these people out as fascists, now you know why.
Education is evangel. Go to. Okay, I'm going ahead and go break. I mean, I didn't break it. Thea's broke it. First of all, broke the first rule. Oh, it's the second hour, so yeah, cool. Education is evangelism. No, the fuck it isn't. And no matter how many times that you actually say it, no, the hell it isn't.
Sure it is.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is. Yes,
No,
it is.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
No,
Yes,
it
it
isn't.
Yes, it is.
I know where you're going.
Nuh-uh. I know you are, but what am I?
No.
Sticks and stones.
I'm rubber and you're glue. Whatever you say bounce off me, stick to you.
Terrible. I don't want to get to the point where education become evangelists because I get a strange feeling. And no, I ain't gonna say a strange feeling that it has. It has. It doesn't happen. For you to say that education is evangelist is to say that history is evangelistic. And I'm about to say, because I don't want to go that route, but you've already made it that route. You've already created that using history. You have created a warped reality of history.
Yeah, that.
Mm-hmm.
But education doesn't exactly teach you the correct history.
No. You're still wrong. But because here's the I'm gonna tell you.
So you are only speaking from your liberal standpoint.
But are you narrowing down that education is just history?
I'm saying education is multifaceted.
And I'm not being funny with that because remember, we had some idiot out there that was counteracting math books because it was teaching something or other. I know this sounds stupid, but look it up.
It's talking about black folk. It ain't like that.
Yeah.
So they wanted to ban the whole book.
So that's why I mean it's like we're talking about math, dude. I mean, you can't argue math.
But here we go. I'm sorry, Marlon. You about to say something? Go ahead.
No, that was it. You did take over. You did take over history. So yeah, I can see how that's educational.
History has always been a lie.
Exactly.
always,
Yep.
because it's impossible to take into words the complexity of any given moment. Because when I tell you the story, I have to choose a point of view to tell the story from. Otherwise, it goes sideways and goes crazy. Right? I can't tell you one story in one telling and give you your perspective, my perspective, and Anna's perspective. Can't do it. Can't do it. It'll be a whole muddled mess. So I choose a perspective. And generally, that's going to be the winner's perspective, or it's going to be the loser's perspective. But it's seldom going to be the winner, the loser, the observer, the contributor. Like, as a kid, I used to ask myself. I didn't fully think the thought all the way through, but I would frequently ask myself, I wonder how does the Japanese people talk about World War II? Well, how did the North Vietnamese versus the South Vietnamese, how do they tell that story? See, that's history, but it's all about what side you're coming from. The flavor of the moment is history, so that's what we oftentimes touch on. But I think the problem that we oftentimes run into is that education is indoctrination. Indoctrination just means that you're trying to bring somebody along with your way of thinking. So our education system in America hit a couple different levels. The education system in America in and of itself is indoctrinating because it's trying to teach patriotism, respect for the law, and cater to the skills that will most benefit society at large. It's not really specialized until you get to a certain level. That's indoctrination, right? And when you look at the conservatives and the liberals and all these other weird titles that we have that goes on, like you hear like these people in the clip, the conservatives in this particular case, they're sloganeering in a way. Like they're saying that in order to preserve our power structure, they're never going to say this outright, but in order to preserve our power structure and the social norms that most benefit us and we are most comfortable with, we have to prevent outside interpretations from coming in and confusing the discussion. This is the same things you'll find in churches where they don't want their children to interact with anyone outside of the church family or outside of the church community. Because if new information comes in, you'll find this very prominent in the Jehovah's Witness faith. You can't play with other children. You can't date anybody outside. Everything has to stay inside this bubble. Because if I keep you in this bubble, then I'm limiting the outside influences that can come in, because those outside influences are not necessarily going to corrupt you. It'll corrupt your way of viewing what I am trying to teach you. Right? So it's interrupting with the culture. So that's why I'm saying it is indoctrination and then so forth, because the way we view education, I don't know, the way I view education is I want to challenge what you think you know. I want to push you to figure out your method of interpretation. I want to make it so that any new information that comes into you, because I believe the information basically got three choices. You can accept it, reject it, or process it. Those are your choices. I want to get you to the point where you process it. Or you can quickly determine what to reject. I want to completely move accepting it out of your vocabulary. I want you to only be in process or reject. So I'm trying to teach you how to think, not what to think. But in these groups, the conservatives especially, because they're a minority in a way, in order to keep this thing strong, they have to get you on a reject and accept mode. And those are the two they need you in. They need you in an accept or reject. So yeah, that's why they say going with these people, Hitler, Mao, and all them, it's not the people that they're uplifting. It's the control that they're revering. Right? That's why Trump likes them. That's why they like Putin. That's why they like all these different types of personalities. They really could care less about the person. You could take Trump out of the equation tomorrow, they'll find a new version to put in that place. But what they want is the control, the structure, the reliability, the protection of their class. That's it. And then while our conversations never work well, is because we attack them basically like ships passing each other. Like we completely miss the point, right? Like we sit there and say, well, they're anti-intellectuals. So you calling them stupid? They're not stupid. They got Ivy League degrees. They run your businesses. So they know they're not stupid. They're ideological. So if you want to fight them, you got to fight them by going and challenging their ideology. You got to make them face the ideology. You got to break it down that way. You're never going to win trying to convince somebody that, you know, math is good.
All right, everybody. This is the last video of the night. I'm actually going to end off on a good note. On a funny note, I should say. I'm not going to take anybody down because it's 8 seconds long. Oh, by the way, I want to push back on something real quick. I'm about to light his mouth on fire. No, I'm not. Been doing it for a long time. Susan, no, he's not trimming his mustache. I did that earlier today. I've been doing that for a long time. You be damn good teacher, Theus. Just don't take a job teaching in almost all European education systems.
That's actually one of the reasons why I never became an educator. I don't think I could function inside the system without getting in trouble in some way.
I'll literally get in trouble the first day. But let's go ahead and end off on a good note, on a funny note. I'm not going to take anybody down. It's 8 seconds. Discovering a mockingbird.
Whoa, is that a mockingbird? Man, is that a mockingbird? Is that a mockingbird?
It's a mockingbird from the genius of assholyish flight.
Told you.
Hey, another light note. I found this out today on one of my random YouTube things. For those of you who, like me, enjoy the TV show The Big Bang Theory, you know Sheldon's favorite little catchphrase is Bazinga. Such was the popularity of that show and that phrase that there is a rare Brazilian bee that they have named the Bazinga bee. And then there is a jellyfish that is of the Bazinga something genus.
Oh my God.
That's how deep that show is loved around the world by the science and nerd community. They gave it a bee and a jellyfish. I was like, whoa, that's so cool.
Nephew is gonna lose it. He loves that.
Never saw one episode.
Me neither.
Dude.
No.
Oh. Yo. For real. Y'all gotta watch it. This ain't like when you hear people say, you gotta watch Friends. No, I'm not saying that.
Thank you.
I'm saying Big Bang Theory is such a good show. It is so good. It feeds
and like on not watching The Princess Diary, so we have to watch it.
No, not Princess Diary, Princess Bride.
Princess Bride.
Two different movies.
So
Two
different than that. Oh my gosh,
we have to watch The Princess Bride, not The Princess Diary, because that's wrong. We have to watch The Princess Bride for reasons.
Made in the early 80s. It is classic.
As you wish.
Yeah.
You mean The Rats of Unusual Size?
We have to watch The Princess Bride because of reasons.
Yes.
It's reasons.
Best date night
a date night, we have to watch The Princess Bride.
Great story. You get to just have
I watched that.
fun.
It's a
My
great
kids
story.
did not want to watch it. I forced them to sit down with me and watch that movie, and it is now my eldest daughter's favorite movie.
It is a tradition in our household, and we have the freaking Princess Bride Monopoly.
We have the Disney.
Oh, that's what's up.
It's a lot of places.
It's a classic, and we have to watch it.
I've never heard of it.
It's a date night.
I don't know about that.
Y'all should watch it for real. For real, for real. Y'all should watch it.
Who's the kid? Who plays the
Fred
kid?
Savage.
It's over 30.
Yeah, thank
Fred
you.
Savage.
Fred
1987.
Fred Savage. He's so cute.
And his role is like that big.
Yeah, it's not. He's sick, and Grandpa comes to read him a story, and it's an awesome story.
Yes, it's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful movie.
We have to watch The Princess Bride.
You do.
You gonna watch it?
And there's no
now?
singing, so that's another good thing. It's not like a musical. It's just a good story.
It is.
Don't worry.
Billy Crystal.
Now I'm gonna ruin it a little
Andre
bit.
the
Yep, Billy
Giant?
Crystal. Yep. Andre the Giant. Yep.
What's his
Okay.
name for Princess? Not
That's
Princess.
the only
but
thing I
Prince
got from
Humphrey.
The Princess Bride was Andre the Giant was in it.
That little
Susan
weasel guy
Sarandon's
from the Cosby
brother.
Show.
Who?
The little Weasley sounding guy from Cosby Show. I think it was Peter's dad or something like that. I don't know. And then the one you're thinking about is the Star.
He's Susan
can't think of
Sarandon's
anything
brother.
he stands out on. Like you recognize him when you see him, but he's like he never really broke through.
Someone
Because he
Sarandon.
was like on a cop show for some years, and yeah, but you gotta watch that. But if y'all like musicals, the only musical you gotta see, Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Yes.
What?
That's the one. That's the one.
The greatest musical of all time was Grease.
No, we're men.
What?
We're men in tights.
We roam around the forest looking for fight.
It's got Dave Chappelle in it.
Well, you know what?
Yeah.
Little Shop of Horrors.
Hey, like it.
Okay, Little Shop of Horrors.
Little Shop of Horrors
is better than
better
Robin
than-
Hood Men in Tights, but it's right there. They're two different types of musicals. So
Yeah.
Forgot all about Little Shop of Horrors.
I did too.
Where you first meet Pam and Gina.
And Gina. Yep. And Gina.
Pam and Gina. And then I want to say Garcelle Beauvois, where we met her in Coming to America. And where is I remember seeing them somewhere. And then of course, House Party for Pam and Gina. But I think we only had Gina for House Party.
Gina, not Pam.
We didn't have Pam. Yeah. But they were both in Little Shop.
Yes. You're really looking up The Princess Bride?
It's a good movie.
It's such a good movie.
Foxy, I have doubts about Marlon's taste in entertainment, but I bet you'll like it. It's a good movie.
I have doubts about you in relationships.
I get it.
That's
but
why
just like you, I've been in one for
divorced.
20 years, so I'm doing all right with that one. I can't say it worked for it. This one's okay.
Theas, you did watch the Barbie movie, didn't you?
I did not. I have no interest in watching that. My wife and my daughters, they went and saw that.
Oh, your wife and daughter.
I did not.
I did not. If my granddaughter asked me to go see it with her, I would.
Hey, Marlon, your granddaughter, Your granddaughter's still at the house?
No.
Oh, no.
Next time you have your daughters or your granddaughter there, do you have Disney Plus?
Yes.
You gotta watch Elemental.
You said that Elemental.
Elemental?
You said
Gotta watch it, man. It's so cool because it's like it's anyway, you know what's coming, right? You know what the overarching story is gonna be. It's predictable. There you go. That part is predictable.
Okay.
But the way they take race, culture, class, bring it all together and tell this very unique story in using these characters. I mean, I'm a softie anyway, so usually these Disney movies end up making me cry at some point anyway. But it was just a really good movie. I enjoyed it.
Elemental.
All right, I gotta sit with my granddaughter and watch Elemental.
And then have,
and you gotta sit with Foxy and watch Princess Bride.
WWE.
You gotta get to know about Lord Humperdinck.
Yep. Prince Humperdinck married the beautiful princess. Well, no, almost married. Kind of rushed.
Princess Buttercup.
Princess Buttercup.
The dread pirate Wesley.
All right. We got to go. We got to go. Theus, tell everybody where they can find you.
I mean, best place to find me is right here, man. My life, it's just a shambles. It's a shambles, y'all. I can't get none of my projects moving because life just keeps slapping me upside the head and stealing my lunch money. But I still show up here from time to time. Where you can find me.
Anna?
You can find me at burleyetcetera.com. I just put up a new video to talk about my line and some of the stuff going on right now. So check it out, YouTube.
Yep, it's a very good video. I watched it this afternoon. Appreciate it, Anna.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, non-conforming individuals, and of course,
I'm assuming you're Lujibitwa.
That is our show for tonight. I appreciate Anna. I appreciate Theus. And until next time, we will see you when we see you. Peace.
All right. Hear me out. Biden, Harris, Cruz, McConnell. That's the one we got to see.
That's a musical.